Welcome back to the show, guys. Sorry for the little hiatus there. We got a new updated look.
Yeah,
Tell them about it, Tim.
We're no longer in Bin Laden's cave, guys.
Oh,
we
I missed
upgraded,
the days.
You know, instead of Ben, we got Washington over here. We've got like some new gray area, little theme going on. We got ourselves a little shelf.
Right.
Let us know what you guys think about it.
It looks better every day that we do the show. We're always thinking of new things to do, and Tim's good about actually implementing those new things. We got
1% better every day, man.
We got a bunch of new decals and designs, and a little organization now to the studio. And the thing I'm mad about is the faces over on your side.
Yeah,
and see, I liked having Ben Franklin, so I said at some point we're going to get a third version done where it's black like this, but I get the Ben Franklin because I want it, dude. But go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, so the thought process behind this one, we kind of accidentally found the theme here, guys. We did initially we were just kind of like experimenting, and some of the best things come from experimenting. And this whole thing kind of just turned into this like glitch in the matrix TV static. And like, I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling this theme. It goes with the gray area. So we were like, you know what? Let's get rid of the Bin Laden. It's not really fitting the theme. And I just went ape shit on ordering a bunch of stuff. And my sister designed.
Well, you did a good job, and your sister is a great graphic designer.
She is a very good designer.
She's done a lot of great work, especially on this. I think it looks really good. It fits with the modern, clean vision for the show. And we're gonna have more. We'll have more stingers. We'll have more taglines. We'll have more intro, outro stuff. We're gonna get proficient at that because we want to give you guys the best show on the internet, the best show possible, and that's why you're with us here tonight on the Gray Area. We got so much cool stuff to cover today. We got some crazy news and some ongoing news about the shutdown and, the various happenings and going on there. It's the longest government shutdown in American history.
Yes, it is.
And Tim's got a great prepared segment on that, so you're going to want to stay with us. But we've got Joe Biggs joining us in the second hour of the show. Should just be around, we're not going to be too strict with it, around after 8 p.m. Central. So I've been texting with him today. He's confirmed he's going to come on, so he should come on around that time. And then we got kind of a lineup of clips. I've got some interesting things, got some entertaining things, but the big thing we haven't talked about yet is the pipe bomber.
Oh yeah, he told me about that today.
Right.
I was like, dude, I'm not familiar, so this will be new information for me too.
Right,
to get my live reaction.
So we're gonna go through all this stuff. We've got some clips and whatever to start, but just to go over the pipe bomber situation a little bit, there was someone that left these pipe bombs out, and apparently they were left out by a school, and the school discovered them because of the security camera footage. So it was taken care of and dealt with, right? This is right around the Gen 6 time. And now it's come out that the lady that left the pipe bombs there, they have like a 94, 95% forensic match. So allegedly, we're not confirming anything here. She's a Capitol police officer who was there on Gen 6, who may have had involvement with the CIA. And she actually testified against people and sent them to jail for a seditious conspiracy. So it's all very interesting. We're going to get into it right now. But to start off with something topical, we've got Trump getting booed at the NFL game. So let's go ahead and go to that.
Un-American.
We love it. Ah, shit. 1 second, guys. It's been a while. I know how to do it. Okay.
This was live.
So we're entering into a second golden age of America. Eggs are available for a penny. You can buy gas for a dime.
And Ozempic is great.
Ozempic is in the water and flows through the streets. Sports gambling has transformed everyone's lives and made them incredibly rich. And, you know, Trump is so popular. You know,
It kind of
really
sucks.
winning with the people.
It really sucks. I really had high hopes. I still don't hate him. I still would rather I would still rather take him over Kamala. Mark my words. If Kamala was it would be even worse.
I mean, and I hear everyone make this point. Look, at this level, like gut level, like when you look at the situation and when you look at Trump, when you look at what's going on, like, I mean, this is not what I voted for.
No, it wasn't what I voted for either, which is why it's very difficult because, you know, I'm in the center, but, you know, I lean a little bit more right, but it's very hard. Like I'm looking like a lib these days with some of the posts because it's like hard to defend him. You know, it's like there's a bunch of funny stuff.
That's what they say. If you criticize them, they go, "You're a liberal. You didn't see that funny clip." And it's like, yeah, I saw the funny clip, and yeah, it's cool to have him, you know, like AI dumping on Harry Sisson or whatever.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It's funny, but at the end of the day, like that's not the tariffs, that's not the wars, that's not the domestic corruption. Ultimately, I was thinking about this today, Tim. What? He's the guy that told everyone that, you know, I'm going to go in there and change the system. And then when the Epstein files thing comes to the surface, he goes, it didn't exist. Epstein never trafficked anybody. I knew him, but I didn't know him, and it's over. So
I may have known him, but you know,
that's my calculation. That's why I'm just completely checked out with it, because like it's a big club and we're not in it. But you know, very clearly, maybe that's okay. Maybe we do just live in kind of like a circus movie, and like it's supposed to get wilder and wilder and wilder because the elites are just, you know, off in their $1 billion
VVEC 2028.
That's what some people have said that, but he kind of pissed off the American public.
Yeah, he did.
But go ahead.
I think, you know, he's saying the right things right now. I don't really know what he truly believes, and maybe he's just capitalizing off of the momentum.
He's based in Ohio, right?
He's trying to get the governor seat in Ohio. But like the messaging he has been pushing lately, I've been enjoying it slightly. He's like end identity politics and just bring down costs.
Did he lose?
Yeah, he lost in the
how much did he lose by approximately?
He never even got to like the final 3. I think he dropped out well before, because I think Trump and why am I blanking out on his name? Florida, DeSantis. Yeah,
DeSantis.
Those were the last 2, but Vivek dropped out pretty early and then just went and put his support for Trump. So
right.
And he's a billionaire, which is insane.
Vivek is a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. Biotech. People don't realize that, but he's a billionaire.
Well, isn't that nice? You know, all these people, they got massive amount of money and they just show up and they go, look, I'm the greatest person ever and I'm here to fix your problems and I'm likable, so vote for me.
Well, he did try to go into Doge. He tried to spearhead that with Elon, but it didn't work out because you can't have 2 alphas in the same room trying to run that.
I don't know. I think it worked out. It didn't work out because they were like, stop it. They were like, you can't do this. And they're like, okay.
Well, he before even Elon even started it and they actually got rolling, Vivek dropped out of it.
Okay.
He was supposed to be appointed as a dual
over it.
I don't know behind the scenes, I'm sure, but like it's very hard for you to like do what you want when you have also the richest man in the world who's used to running his companies. And I'm sure they had some disagreements.
And we hear these stories. We hear how, you know, the walruses of the executive branch have kind of brawled with each other, like Scott Bessent and then Elon Musk. Apparently, Elon has this technique which he refers to as the walrus, which isn't a real technique.
What is that?
It's being like 6'2" and fat and like running into people with your shoulder. It's shoulder checking or whatever.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And
that's the play now.
He brags. Well, he's got Asperger's or something, but he brags about it, right? And like it is what it is, and I'm sure it hurts to get hit by Elon, like walrus checking you, as he refers to it. So maybe it is a good technique. Kudos, Elon.
Kudos.
We love you. Please don't ban the show. But Scott Bassett apparently may have like punched him in the face after that happened, and then there's a rumor that that's where Elon's black eye came from.
I heard the rumor that, like, you know, when he started misbehaving, they said, like, you know, Secret Service beat the shit out of him or something like that, and Trump was like responsible.
They're gonna take you to the back and they're gonna take you. There's nothing you can do about it. Richest man on earth. We don't care. We don't care.
And then they
listen to me.
And then they get together like a, you know, like a long lost couple, you know, after Kirk died. You know, death always reunites people.
Well, here's the thing. I think when you have so much influence and just ultimately so much money, they're playing life in creative mode. Like they're like, you know what? This is a sandbox. I'm bumping around in this sandbox with other people that have agency,
trying to catch rockets and shit.
Yeah, so like they're just trying to make like their own kind of like sympathetic magic happen. That's how I view all of it. I don't think it's that personal. I think these people's lives, when you're worth that much money, your entire life is business.
Till you call somebody out.
Relationship with everyone.
Till you call somebody out for being on the Epstein list. That was personal.
There's no list with who is Epstein. We don't know who he is. He's a mysterious guy.
That's when he made it personal. And I was like, dude, you're playing with.
I mean, that was crazy. Didn't he tweet? Like Cash Patel was on Rogan and they reacted to it live. And he's like, I can't comment on that. I can't talk about
dude.
That.
He's a cuck.
Which one?
Patel. I mean, Cash. Sorry.
I've seen the file. Or that's Bongino. I've seen the file. He killed himself.
Is he? Maybe I misunderstood. Is he being investigated for something?
Which one?
Cash.
Cash Patel's not being investigated.
Not investigated, but I think they can threaten him with something, which is why he's like falling in line.
I'm not sure. I mean, Trump can just fire him.
True.
Whenever he wants.
That is true.
So it's like that's Trump probably loves that about his job. He's like, it's just like The Apprentice. I can fire them whenever I want.
But you can't fire Powell.
Yeah.
Powell, lower the rates. You better do it now.
Well, the Fed is independent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a crazy thing, you know, criticize the Federal Reserve all these years and talk about it as this globalist agency. And ultimately, here's the thing. People are like, Trump is amazing. He's incredible. He's number one. He's going to save us and bring back the dinosaurs and do it all. And ultimately, if Trump had his way with the interest rates, the inflation, we'd be back in Biden time.
Yeah, we would.
Like I view what's going on with the Fed right now, at least as some sort of tangential positive, that the president can't just fire the dude and do whatever he wants.
Nope.
Because like ultimately we're sliding towards the big explosion anyway, but sliding towards it faster would be even.
No, once Powell's up, I think it's 2026. He'll be replaced by somebody who's like pro-Trump, you know. Just like he replaced all the Supreme Court with the people that he wanted, which is wild because the Supreme Court shut that judge's order, the mandate for the SNAP benefits.
That's right.
Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, talk about the judges are supposed to be impartial, but we always know which side they lean more towards depending on what president put them in there.
Right.
So what else you got for us?
Well, you know, I got a lot of stuff here, and we got a lot of stuff to preview for your segment and for the topic that we're going to talk about with Joe Biggs. But we've got, you know, an interesting clip. I know you don't know too much about this dude or who he is, but
I've seen him.
He huge on conservative radio for decades and decades.
Yeah.
Kind of Rush Limbaugh type guy. Him and my dad had this old beef, but now my dad will go on the show and be like, Limbach's good. He's awake now. And I don't know if I agree with that. Here's the thing. Why must we exhibit this sort of simp behavior? Why must we do it? And why must we do it for a foreign country? That's number one. And you're going to see him here. This is a thought leader. This is a face lord of like the boomer conservative movement.
Looks like it.
I mean, he's like the Winnie the Pooh of those guys. Here we go.
Full screen.
Deeply to me to have the privilege to stand with the Jew.
Oh yeah.
Is a tremendous honor. Spiritually.
All right. How weird would it be for me to go, it is such a tremendous honor for me to stand with the black people?
They've done. They've
right?
already started. They already tried to do that back in 2020. There was a lot of that stuff.
That's what a liberal would say,
Yeah.
right? But see, this is the same thing. This is liberalism in kind of a different form.
It's a black screen.
Huh?
So I want to read a
I'll
letter
tell you about that after.
Oh yeah,
that
I
I wrote that I am sending to the state of Israel.
Write him a letter.
To
Baby,
Prime Minister
love you.
Benjamin Netanyahu and the honorable officials at the state of Israel. In this moment, I have chosen to ask you for citizenship in the state of Israel. I have nothing to offer but my voice of support. And some might say that my support might be more valuable as an independent voice. Perhaps they're correct.
Okay, so he's admitting that he's not independent and that he works for them, essentially. And
Look, give that man his 7,000.
dude, yeah, this is earned.
But my
is earned.
request for citizenship is not about words, it is about deeds. Why, one might wonder, would I want to embrace a heritage and identity that is so ruthlessly hunted down again and again? Yet it is precisely during such moments that we must choose to stand.
Dude, black people don't even talk about like this about slavery.
You would.
I've heard.
You would
I've,
be
I've,
surprised.
I've heard some of it, but like this is like next level. Like
it depends on what angle you try to talk about it, right? You know, the people who want reparations definitely talk about it in like this, but you know,
that's very true. That's very true.
I anticipate no privileges or exemption from the state of Israel. I instead yearn to align myself with those willing to rise, to fight, and sacrifice for the fundamental right to live.
Okay.
Is this not what both Israel and America embody? In closing, my desire for dual citizenship does not stem from any expectation of gain, but from a deep...
He's trolling,
I don't want that passport. I really don't want the cool passport. Please don't give it to me, guys. I mean, no, he's not trolling. This is 100%.
He's being real.
Yeah, this is.
Wow, I thought this was a bit.
No,
I'm not even gonna lie.
No, this is 100% real. But see, this is how like they make you talk like this, man. They make you signal this kind of behavior.
Come on, man.
Yeah, they make you do this, and they're like, well, you know, am I successful now? Do I get to make millions of dollars now? Yes, you do. You did a good job. You said it.
They should have had him on the stage with the rest of them.
Seriously, it's crazy. But, you know, Glenn Beck, kind of this archetypal figure in conservative media. I'm not sure if he was a never Trumper. He may have been.
I'm sure he.
But people like this, people like Levin, all these types, they were people that were very anti-Trump. And then leading into everything regarding, you know, the second term, once it starts to look like he's going to win, when Biden's going to like fail and he's senile, all these people flock to Trump. And then he likes them more because he wants to be liked by the people that don't like him. So he's got all these people that love him and love him for real. But the people that hated him and dissed him were the people he was always truly a fan of. So when they were willing to come over, he's like, this is the universe I wanted to live in. I didn't want to live with the bumpkin people that liked me. I wanted to be, you know, with the conservative elite, you know, the Fox News class.
Yeah.
And, like, I'll tell you, like, I've been to Trump Tower, or not Trump Tower, whatever the Trump thing is in DC, the Trump Plaza or whatever it is in DC.
He's got a bunch of places. So.
I've been to the one in DC numerous times, and it is that class. It's Fox News people drinking down there. It's, you know, the politicos.
Did you get to go inside?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the thing is, if that's what he wants to be surrounded by, that's fine. But ultimately, all these people are loyal to a foreign country. And, you know, I think Trump was at one point loyal to America, but I think his values have been skewed kind of like Glenn Beck, as to where he's like, look, you know, like, y'all are so amazing and so wonderful. It's such an honor to stand with you, that no matter what you do, just standing with you, even though if you're doing the worst things imaginable, I'm standing with you and you're a victim class. So I'm a good person.
Hey, dude, hats off to Trump, though, for being able to literally, no matter what, have that base of people that will always be loyal to him, no matter what he does wrong.
100%.
So, I mean, you've got to be, it's crazy because, like, I never thought, you know, Trump was like the most influential person until like I saw him running for presidency and the way he talks. And it's like, you know, if you and I were talking and I met you like that and that's how you were to communicate with me, I'd be like, who is this guy? But like, there's millions of people that like, you know, he speaks in ad libs and he's like, very, very good. And, you know, the extra stuff. And, and it's like, I guess it's enough for them. You know, he speaks to the level that they want to talk to. But I wonder if he talks like that behind closed doors or whether that's just the.
I think he can't turn it off, even if there was a difference. You know, this is the thing you got to realize about these jobs and really these, you know, identities or archetypes that people take on is they mold them. And like, he's become that. I truly believe
embodied it fully.
I truly believe that because like if there was a difference, then we would see a difference in the behavior, right? And then, you know, maybe the negotiation tactic and Trump's essential negotiation tactic is this: crazy threat negotiation, crazy threat negotiation, crazy threat negotiation. But if he was rational in the sense of he wasn't acting in that public persona all the time, if he was withdrawn and kind of really playing the 3D or 4D chess that people talk about, it would be attack and then like maneuver instead of just going into a negotiation.
Like a Putin type of
chess. I mean, just making longer term decisions. And all the military people I've heard speak about this, they say the same thing. They make tactical decisions. They don't make strategic decisions. They just like advance to the next check.
You know what made me realize though, like it was really that bad is when people are trying to say, get rid of the filibuster. And I'm like, hold up.
They're still doing that.
No, but like,
that's right.
I'm literally trying to say short-term goldfish thinking. Let's go and remove the one thing that actually allows them to combat, you know, the main people that are in power.
I don't like how racist you're being right now.
But it's just like it don't make sense.
It's very sexist.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, you know what? Okay, cool. Remove it right now. What happens when the Republicans are no longer in power? You know, it might even be November at this rate because there's a fraction within the Republican Party and people are getting really mad in these whole like no kings protests and stuff. Maybe there's a blue wave. Who knows?
Oh,
you know,
let's just talk about that really quick because we got a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time. We got like 15, 20 minutes before Joe Biggs will join us, and he's joining us pretty soon, guys, the next like 30 minutes. So you want to stay tuned. A blowout in Virginia, in New Jersey, in New York. You could say, oh, these places, they're liberal, they're blue anyway, they're going to win. I saw really good coverage on Due Dissidence where they covered a majority Latino county in New Jersey that had gone like +4 to Trump. And they were all the way back to where they were, like overwhelming double-digit Democrat.
Right.
So, I mean, we're going to see a lot of that as people.
Swing states they're swing states for a reason. You know,
right.
And the same thing. There's a lot of independent people that just voted for Trump because they were like, dude, Biden's gone out of control. So now the independent people are like, well, now what are we accomplishing? And they see all the mainstream talking about Venezuela and like all the other stuff. So I don't know. Maybe the Republicans do lose.
Well, the thing that drives me crazy is it's a two-tiered insult. Number one, he doesn't do what he's going to say, what he says he's going to do when he's elected.
They all do that. Too.
I know, but just wait. And then number two, the stuff that he could still do, very low effort stuff that he could do to fix things or turn things around. He's only got a year left of governmental control. So even the base and the people that voted for him, you see what I'm saying here, that want him to do all these things that we may not agree with, but it is Trump's platform to do so, right? All those people are going to be super disappointed when, because of the poor performance in the first part of the second term, the Democrats have a landslide and take back the Senate and the House. And I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then he'll go, it's the fault of the voters. They didn't vote for me. They didn't show up. We were going to do all this incredible stuff, but now we can't do it anymore. And that's a damn lie. And that pisses me off. Doesn't that make you mad?
Yeah, it really does make me mad. And the biggest thing is like, I thought, you know, for the longest time, I was like, you know what? The Democrats are in the wrong here for the government shutdown. And, you know, the Republicans are the ones that are pretty much, you know, they've made the claim and everybody's leaning more towards the Republican side. Now I'm not even so sure. This thing's going on longer. And, you know, the Democrats, I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there. And it seems like the Democrats have really played their hand here and they've made the Republican Party even weaker. So I agree with your analysis.
They did the best thing they could do after, you know, they got obliterated in 2024, which is just to play dead and to not really do anything and wait for the Republicans to do what they always do, which is to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Yes.
I've heard Ben Shapiro say that for years. I've heard Ben Shapiro say that since the 2010s, and that's what they do.
Yep. And the thing about this shutdown, guys, this is like this episode. I need you guys to stay in till towards the end.
Yeah,
because
stay on. We're gonna have a fun night tonight.
because with the government shutdown, I spent last week, I was like, you know what? I was trying to research and I'm like, what's the cause of the government shutdown? And I
This is Tim.
Manipulate scientific data. Take over, blast, control world government.
Sorry, just a bit too.
no, but that's
Ship everything to China.
this was me. This was me. So I was like, okay, let me get down to the bottom of this. And it was so hard to find the exact details and the truth about it because like everywhere I was looking, you go, oh, forget Fox, forget MSNBC, forget fucking CNN. All those people are giving like the biased version. And then like even the commentary that's out there, you guys try to go find YouTube videos. This guy did an interview, but it was like Chuck Schumer doing the interview and explaining the government shutdown. I was like, oh, can't watch that because I know exactly what's going to be in there. They're going to end up skewing that right there. So that told me everything I need to. I went into the freaking nitty gritty. I had to fucking combine not even just my own research, but like ChatGPT wasn't giving me what I wanted. Grok wasn't giving me what I wanted. And I was just fact checking both and everybody out there. And I spent literally like 5 to 8 hours of research on this to figure out exactly what's causing the government shutdown, what's the biggest issue. And this is going to be the deep dive tonight, guys. Like you have to pay attention to this because I just went down the rabbit hole.
Stay tuned and stay informed, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay informed.
That's
and
what
this
the show's
is
about.
and this is not a partisan issue by the way I researched. I was literally just like gray area. This is what we do, right? No Republican, no Democrat. We're just giving you guys the facts as they are. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And that'll happen after the interview. So
We're communists here on the gray area. We're not Democrat or Republican.
socialist, communist, fascist. No.
We like to have fun here on the gray area.
Yeah.
But you know,
I'm not seeing a lot of chats tonight,
Yeah,
guys.
not seeing a
Where's
lot of
the
chats.
engagement? We
know,
missed you guys. We didn't even
we've got people showing up. There'll be more people in here.
we haven't even been live for the last week, unfortunately. But you know, we're bigger back than ever. So
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing about the show, guys. It's very interactive, and we're not charging for super chats or anything. Certainly not. We just want to hear what you guys have to say. So if you have feedback, please just leave something in the comments. Slackers, yeah, I know it's evil. It's my fault. You know, we all have stuff going on. Had some like family health stuff going on. So, you know, it sucks to get old. But at the end of the day, we're going to do a very exciting interview with Joe Biggs coming up here in the next 10 minutes. Let's look at what we're going to cover. You know, Joe Biggs, decorated veteran, Gen 6er. He got sentenced to decades in prison after all this happened. He had his sentence commuted, I believe, but he has knowledge of this. This is what we're going to be covering.
how long did he stay in prison?
He was in prison for the Biden term, man.
Jeez.
Right. So
That's
we're
insane.
going to talk to him about it. In fact, so we talked about it a little bit earlier on the show. This person waddles up near the Capitol with this bag full of pipe bombs and is discovered on the security camera. So they dispose of the bombs, I believe, is what happened. And it comes out now that that person is a 94% forensic match to this individual.
She
94% match. So nothing's certain here. This is all alleged. But it's very interesting, you know, because this person testified against Jan 6ers, was there on Jan 6. And what's even more interesting is they were looking for the bomber anyway. And, you know, we traced the bomber to the house right next door to hers. Isn't that interesting how that always works out?
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? But I'm sure it's all a coincidence, but Joe can tell us a lot more about this, I'm sure. And I caught him live. He was on InfoWars today. He was on there with,
I caught a little bit of that too.
What'd you think of that?
Very
text him.
interesting, very interesting guy. I like some of the major macro points that he was making. It's always interesting to get like different perspectives from different people. And you know, back in the day, I'd be like, interviewing a Proud Boy, how dare we? But like at the end of the day, it's really not that deep, guys, you know. So it's very nice to get like a different, you know, palette of different individuals. Now, did you say like he used to work with InfoWars or your dad?
Yes, he was a reporter for many years.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean, overall, I'm very interested. I'm going in this with no bias, so I'm not really going to judge him on anything. Just ask.
He's a phenomenal dude. I knew
I'm
this
sure.
dude when I was a kid. He's a phenomenal dude, and he suffered government injustice, and we're going to hear all about that.
You know what's
from him.
crazy, dude? If I were to like, some of my family were to know, like, I'm interviewing somebody who's from, the Jan 6, they would. But it's like, it's not that deep. Oh, he's in here.
He's in here. Let's go to him now. We got Joe Biggs with us. We're going to wait for him to put his headphones on, getting prepped here. All right. Joe, are you ready to join us?
1 second.
1 second. Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy, man. And thank you all for being here with us tonight on The Gray Area. Please follow Truism Tim on X, and please subscribe to The Gray Area on YouTube and Rumble.
Also repost this, guys.
Yeah.
We want more people to hear the message on what's going on truly within the government. And even this interview is going to be very
super
interesting.
important, man. This is super important.
Joe, you ready, or you still need a second?
He needs a second.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
We're all good.
You can get the dog cam. It's on the ground.
For sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, man. How are you doing? It's been a long time.
It's weird. The headphones, it's not coming through. I can't hear you.
Really? He
Yeah.
can't hear us, Tim.
You what?
I was talking to co-host.
You can't hear me?
He can't hear us through the mic.
No, it's not. For some reason, it's not coming to. Keep talking.
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Maybe change. Tell him maybe change his input.
13. Maybe change your input. 16, 17, 18. Thank you, guys. We got the Joe Biggs interview coming up.
Yeah, we can hear him just fine.
We can hear you
I've
great.
never had this issue.
So we can hear you. You can't hear us.
Yeah, you're just not coming through my headphones. It's only coming out of the
Oh.
computer,
Okay.
which doesn't make sense.
I'm going to text you.
Tell him make sure he's got the right.
Here, I'll just
input
switch over to my AirPods. Fuck it.
Just sent you a text.
All right.
And now I can't hear him.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Well, I guess he's not talking.
Oh, he's trying to change
trying
his
to fix
input. We'll wait.
All right.
So when we look at January 6th, when we look at the whole Biden time period, it was a period of time for the country that we really thought we'd never recover from. You can hear us now?
Yeah, I'm
Good?
good now.
Can't hear you though.
We can't really hear you.
Hold on.
Here, just turn them up.
Check, 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 check.
Yeah, now.
All
we
right,
can hear you.
beautiful. All right.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you for everyone standing by.
In the chat, can you guys hear him? Okay, just can we get some feedback on the viewers?
That's 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You sound like you're a little under the weather, Joe. Are you doing okay?
Sounds loud on screen.
I've been singing in contests. I won a few singing contests, and my voice is a little stretched.
Nice, nice. I saw you on the show with Enrique and with Stuart, and I thought it was a phenomenal breakdown. Do you know anything about this Capitol police officer? I saw you cover her a little bit, the one that's alleged to have been carrying the pipe bombs.
Yeah, I mean, she was the first one to shoot into the crowd. She actually incited the riot. I would say I would give her credit for that. And after doing that, and then placing those bombs as well, the CIA saw something in her. She was a shady human being. So that's exactly what they like there.
Right. And we were looking through the statistics. So one Capitol police officer dies of a seizure or a stroke. And then in the months after or the weeks after, another 6 commit suicide or something like this?
No one died that day except for protesters.
Right.
There were no police officers that died that day. They were in the days after. So, I don't know. That's a little weird.
Wait,
But,
so did they lie about that one person that died, like the one that was shot within the door or something like that? Or was
Yeah,
it
no.
just the people that died?
Yeah, it was just protesters. So Ashley Babbitt was killed, Roseanne
Right.
Boylan, and then there was 2 other men that were killed. I believe one was a heart attack from a flashbang. But no police officers died on January 6th. That is a lie. We forced them to admit that in the trial. So we had them on record admitting that no officers died, but they still continue to carry that narrative in the media and on TV, and even, you know, in other areas to make, the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers look bad and demonize us, because at the end of the day, the whole thing was a setup to kind of cover for the fact that the election was stolen, and then
Right.
also try and shift the blame from them to us.
Right. And like I have massive issues with Trump. I voted for him twice now. And in 2024, especially after the Thomas Matthew Crooks incident, I went on InfoWars. I was live with Chase for like 3-4 hours. I came out of church and heard the news and just drove straight to the office. And like I pulled the cross out of my shirt and I told people to vote for Trump because I thought he was going to stop the wars. And I thought that's why they wanted to kill him. That's why they wanted to get rid of him. And I was a true believer the first time since I was like a little kid, since you knew me running around InfoWars, I was a true believer in Trump. And, the one positive thing I can point to that he's done, sort of, kind of, I mean, you deserve a pardon, but he's commuted and pardoned a bunch of Jan Sixers, and he's done a lot of good things on that front. But from everything I hear from you and from all the other people, y'all still want things done. Y'all still want things fixed. The administration is kind of unresponsive. And it feels like this one kind of ray of sunshine or this glimmer of hope, we're kind of, we're being told that it's done. It's clearly not done. What would you like to see happen?
Well, first and foremost, they need to pardon us so we can get our lives back. There's 14
Right.
or 12 of us now that still need them. And, Trump is too busy pardoning actual criminals and rappers
Oh,
and
yeah.
things like that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you have to throw him money, to get a pardon. He's not loyal
True.
to people who are loyal to him. That's one thing I've learned. If you're super loyal to him, he'll shit on you. But everyone else is shady and snaky. He seems to take care of them and like to keep those kind of people around him. So I've
Right.
kind of I've lost any kind of hope in him. I think he's just really showing who he actually truly is at this point in time. And it's not that he's just not doing a good job. It's just that, well, this is just who he is.
I
And that's
think,
just, it sucks.
yeah. I think you're 100% right. I mean, ultimately, when they come out and tell us, hey, Epstein never trafficked anyone. In fact, he didn't exist, basically. And, it's just, like Bongino says, like a robot, he goes, I've seen the file. I've seen the file. He killed himself. And that's a guy that I was watching on InfoWars in 2012. That's a guy in like the late 20 teens who was hosting the fourth hour sometimes. So weird for me. And I know it's probably really weird for you too. I'm not too sure on your relationship if you knew Bongino or ever talked to him, but to see the transformations of these people once they get into the halls of power. I mean, Kash Patel, like I ruled him from day one as like he's the podcast guy who's like campaigning for himself, and he's got like a little book where Trump is the king, and he's like a little wizard, and he helps the King Trump and all of this. And it's like, okay, like you're a grifter, like I don't like that, but that's fine. Dan Bongino, I thought that this was a guy, of upstanding moral fortitude, and now we see him kind of unwilling to do his job. What's your view on their dynamic together?
Yeah, I've never liked Bongino. I mean, I listened to him when I was in prison. When I was
Wow.
in solitary, I had like a little radio, so I was able to listen to him and a few other guys out of DC and stuff that they had. Chris Plant, that guy's awesome. But either way, Bongino, I never really trusted or liked. I've always thought he's been kind of a guy who'll say anything for good ratings and a good show. I've actually met him and spoken at events. I campaigned for DeSantis with him before.
Oh, wow.
So, I've had opportunities around him. I just never liked him. When I meet someone, I can tell within 5 minutes or so if you're someone that I trust or not. Or at least I can get a sense that you're someone that seems like a man of good character or not. And I just never had a good feeling about him. But what needs to happen is this, though. What Trump needs to do right now, he needs to fire Susie Wiles. She's
Yes.
just, I mean, she ran Bibi Netanyahu's campaign. I mean, come on.
Right.
And then you have the other guy, the assistant deputy attorney general. Then you have Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. The thing is, the only way that you're going to fix the FBI, because no one's really ever going to dismantle it. It's part of our society. It's no one's going to have the balls to actually do that.
But they literally they said that they were going to do it. And like that's what Patel said. He's like, I'm going to demolish the Hoover building.
I
Basically.
mean, that's what politicians do. I mean, these guys are all in
Always say
politics
stuff
and
like that.
Right.
yeah, they
Yeah.
tell everybody what they want to hear, and when it comes time to do it, they don't do it. What it is if you're going to go into the FBI, and this is what I believe happened, and I said this on your dad's show earlier today. Um, I believe that when Cash Patel went in there, he had good intentions. I believe Dan Bongino had good intentions when they went in there. But the deep state, the guys in the FBI that have been there forever, that are just part of the corruptness, they both put a folder in front of each one of those guys and had all the fucked up things they've ever done in their life. They look
Yeah.
down there, their eyes got big and they got scared and they go, all right. And the guys go, look, things are going to change. You're not going to fire us. You're not going to
Yep.
burn this building down to the ground like you
Yep.
said. You're going to do exactly what we say when we say, and you're going to shut the fuck up, and that's how it's going to be. Um, and here's the thing: is we all have skeletons in our closet. You know, everybody's got something that they're embarrassed of and don't want out in public. But we need a man of integrity to stand up and take that shot and say, you know what,
Right.
fuck it, I don't care. Release whatever you got on me, because guess what? We're at war. The only way we can save this country is to clean out this corruptness, and we need a man that's willing to stand up and expose whatever dirty shit he's done and go into the FBI and clean house and fire all these deep state agents and start over new and bring in good God-fearing Christian men and women who love the country and actually adhere to the Constitution. And everybody goes that we're a democracy, but a democracy is, you know, a country by the people for the people. You know, but a constitutional republic means that we
Right.
maintain our loyalty to the Constitution. That's what people don't get. And if we were if we were actually a democracy, there's more of us than them, and we'd actually just, you know, we'd throw them all in prison camps or something. I mean, we could have that ability
Yeah.
if we were actually a democracy.
That's
But
why
we're not.
Athens didn't work out. And that's the foundation of that governmental system. And that's why we have that constitutional republic. I mean, you saying that reminds me of the old days at InfoWars where we would talk about that sort of language all the time. We don't hear enough of that anymore. But go ahead, Tim.
One thing that I want to go back over, you had mentioned the fact that like they probably have a file, they have all these things that are on you. I think it goes even bigger than that. I think, you know, a lot of these people have family members, they have you know, kids. And I said this the same thing about like politicians that go in with good intentions too. It's like once, you know, they get a reality check once you're inside and you get to see what's going on. But like even bigger than the file, it's like I guarantee you they're like, well, you want little Timmy to go to college, right? You know, like we can make something happen to where your son doesn't graduate, or just like any level of thing where they can just pull a lever and just do a favor. I think the system overall, they have so
It's-
much leverage to basically
I
ruin
agree.
not just your life, but your family's life. And it's like, I think that's what keeps the person from being like, okay, I'll just martyr myself, because it's everyone else that they're also associated with would also get lumped in.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's like ancient China. Yeah, we're like, not only if you're guilty of the crime, your children and grandchildren are guilty of the crime and you're banished. I think that has a lot to do with it.
And that's why you don't see a lot of single politicians out there, you know, because they don't have that leverage over them. And, you know, the weird thing is like the single ones you have is Lindsey Graham. All right. You know, like that guy's
Oh,
just
I don't
drunk
know
anyway,
if he's
so it
single.
doesn't.
I think, you know, he's got a couple partners.
Well, I mean, like in a standard sense
I
of,
know.
you know, what we believe in, you know, but, you know, we've got to have a guy out there that, yeah, probably doesn't have a family and doesn't have children, so they don't have that leverage. The thing is, though, is can a guy like that doesn't have leverage to pull, so to say, like you said, can get into a position like that to run the FBI? I don't know if they would ever let someone be confirmed that doesn't have that ability to hold something over their head, like you said, their family members or something. So I don't know. I mean, it's always possible. I mean, maybe if you were smart, you could fake a marriage and pretend like you were with someone and then get in there and be like,
Now they'll
psych,
catch you.
you know?
That's one of the things they'll write you up for. They'll be like, "Oh, we caught this."
Yeah, trying to get out of the Matrix. For
Yeah.
sure. Speaking of the Matrix and all that sort of situation, what's the status with your Twitter? So you've been suspended for that video, which was great, by the way, of you calling out Cash Patel and you know, that whole situation. Are you going to be back on here anytime soon?
I don't know. So like on Monday it got suspended. Then on Tuesday I woke up and they go, "We're sorry. We shouldn't have done that. We reinstated your account and given you the ability to monetize your account now." So I set up all the paperwork, I do all that, and then I wake up the next morning at 9 o'clock and I get another email saying your account's been suspended and it's under review. And I'm like, for what? And it's all these Q cards out there. It's the ones that
Oh,
these
yeah.
guys, the Shady and the Matrix or some shit. I don't know. They get some fucking gay podcast. But all they do is they get their followers to mass report my account. They've done it. This is the third time. And they just got some hard on for me. I don't know. But I mean, I thought Elon said that they were going to go do away with, you know, people being able to mass report your account and then
Yeah,
get
Brigading.
that was
Yeah,
Twitter. That was
brigading.
Twitter stuff that they used to weaponize at the same time. Like I thought X was going to be the platform where you couldn't go and just do that type of thing and just get banned for no reason.
You know, we're seeing the algorithm get bent. We're seeing all these pro-Israel people that I've never seen before, never liked, never searched, never followed or commented on any of their stuff. That's all my feed is. You know, we it's popular.
I've seen your content, Joe. Like there's worse shit out there on X that people say the most
that video
heinous
is mundane. That video
Yeah.
is mundane.
Yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't make sense.
I went back and watched it like 4 times. I was like, did I miss something? I sent it to Kyle Seraphin and he posted. He's like, no, it's fucking good. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I was like, I don't understand what it was. So I mean, that just shows you that these people mass report stuff. They're
For
haters.
those who
They don't
didn't
like
catch
me.
it, can you explain to the audience what you actually said that got you,
Well, yeah, I didn't
suspended?
make any threats or anything. I just said that it's time for you to step aside, Cash Patel. I go, this is a war that we're in. We're not just, the position of director of the FBI is not an excuse to get a free private jet to gallivant around with your shitty country music girlfriend singer. No one's ever heard of. She's not a sensation. He's constantly using his work to go and gallivant around and hang out with her at these fucking rodeos and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? We're at war. We need a commanding general to be there. We need someone who is tirelessly at the office. You've got 4 years. If you can't suck it up for 4 years and man up and do your job and save the country, I said step aside. And Bongino, step aside. Let some men come in with integrity. Let Seraphin come in. Let Garrett O'Boyle. Let freaking Steve Friend. Let these other guys who actually stood up to the machine and blew the whistle on the corruption within the FBI and got canned for it. Let those kind of men come in and actually run the FBI because they actually understand the Constitution, and they understand what investigations are supposed to be like when you start one and you follow the evidence and then come to a conclusion and have your perpetrator. Whereas the FBI now is they just pick someone and go, you're the bad guy. And then they try to build a case around it, which is what they did with us on January 6th. So when we were in trial, there was absolutely no evidence that was brought forth that even remotely made me guilty in any kind of way. But because they run the system and because it's DC, they can still convict me and throw me in prison for decades. So, there's a lot of corruption out there. It's just going to take real men and women to stand up and do the right fucking thing. And, it's hard to find people of integrity, people with morals, people who put God first. We're few, far and beyond out there.
So you're definitely hitting on something that I wanted to start asking. And I know you've probably been, asked these questions a million times, but there's new people that are always don't understand your story and what happened to you. But just kind of like the overarching summary, explain kind of like what happened and, what you felt in the moment that you pretty much got like basically a death sentence to just be rotting in prison for something that you didn't feel that was justified.
He didn't do anything wrong.
So
he did not do anything wrong, Tim. He didn't do anything wrong. It was a giant entrapment operation. They were invited into the Capitol and then they got everyone for decades. How long were you sentenced to?
The 17 years, and when the judge gave me 17 years, the prosecutors jumped up and screamed, "We wanted 36."
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez. And this was all blue. I mean, this was the Democrats that were in power at the point at which you were getting prosecuted. They wanted everybody who was remotely involved basically on trial for this.
And that was a moment of time where everything felt bleak for everyone in the country. But I imagine for yourself, 1,000-fold. I mean, Biden's president, and this is all happening, and it just.
I mean, we keep getting told, from Pam Bondi and Cash Patel that it takes time. It takes time. Well, January 20th, 2021, when Joe Biden took office, the first thing he did was after he swore his oath to the Constitution, which we know he doesn't believe in, sent FBI agents to my house. I mean, this happened instantaneously. I was like the first one picked up. And it was insane how quick they were there. I mean, and I'm here while all this stuff's going on, the inauguration, being driven by the FBI to the federal courthouse in Orlando, Florida, a few hours away from where I live in Daytona Beach. So, it's bullshit when they keep telling us it takes time. No, it doesn't. The entire time The entire time that, like, while we're in power right now, you know what the left's doing? They are creating lists of people within the DOJ and the FBI of people that have been looking into them, and they're actually, when they get into power, will go after them. Whereas we sit around and our fucking politicians and our leaders just sit around and they say things and they like to make clips on Fox News and they like to be trendy, but they're not doing their fucking job. And it's kind of pathetic because,
Right.
we know the corruption that's been happening over the last, shit since Obama. I mean, forever, but you know, things have been bad. And for some reason, every time we get in power, shit never happens. And we just sit here and we pussyfoot around, and our politicians don't vote the way that we want them to. And they take money from APAC and they represent other countries more than they do their own. They care more about foreign soldiers and foreign borders than they do about, their own people. So it's just frustrating, And when I'm sitting there and I'm going through the trial, like each and every day, me and Enrique would look at each other and go, dude, we're going to win this, because there's nothing been brought up. Like, there's not been one piece of evidence that they've brought forward where I was like, fuck, that doesn't look good at all. I was like every day, like literally going, we got this, we're going to win this. And with no evidence being shown whatsoever, with the largest amount of discovery in any American trial, we were the longest trial ever, the longest jury selection ever, and the most discovery ever in an American trial. And hundreds of thousands of terabytes of information, and not one piece of evidence ever pointed towards our guilt. And any of our chats, and any of our videos, and any of our call logs, did we ever say insurrection, storming the Capitol, stopping the certification of the election, anything like that? We never even talked about the Capitol. The only time we ever brought up going to DC on the 6th was when, after December 20th, Trump put out a tweet saying, be there, it'll be wild, or something like that. And we were like, well, fuck it, let's go. It's our last chance to go and support him before he's out and Biden's in. And that was literally it. We talked about safety. We talked about what we were going to do to keep ourselves together, out of harm's way, and maintain security, to watch for Antifa and to make sure we could protect people so they could go to these events that day that were going to be happening and do it without fear of being jumped by Antifa. And that's all we talked about in all of our chats, were safety and keeping each other safe and watching out for threats. But they somehow concocted a story that, would make, Stephen King blush. I mean, it was crazy. They just came up with the craziest shit.
That first moment where they just knock on your door and they basically just take you out, what was that feeling? What was going through your mind, like the moment that all happened? I'm sure you thoughts going 1,000 miles a minute.
Yeah, there was 2 black Chargers, blacked out, came in with FBI agents, then one of those armored SUVs, and a couple helicopters. And it was just kinda
helicopters.
like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was like, I thought I was gonna be on Cops or something. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, everybody's outside in their yard looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the fucking bad guy. It's me. I'm the bad guy.
So they treat you like a terrorist, and that's what they said that everyone there was. They and Biden said it. Like white supremacy and like domestic terrorism is the biggest threat in America, right? And that was the language, that was the signaling, and we all forget because we want to forget. We want to forget COVID. We want to kind of forget the whole Biden presidency because it was just so bad. But that was the constant language, and the constant signaling was like, yeah, police states here, you're going to take your vaccine. All these people who were here are domestic terrorists, and we're going to lock them up forever. And that's pro-America. And you got Biden up there with the red background saying all of that. In this time now, going into the second Trump administration, it reminds me eerily so much of the first in weird ways. And maybe you have this sense as well. I mean, just being up at InfoWars during that time, it was like the greatest celebration victory ever when he won. The first time it was like, yes, let's do this. We got him elected. He's in office. And then we hear this story about, oh, he's trying to do stuff, but all the people he appointed are bad, but he's got the Russia thing hanging over him his entire first term. And that's justifiable to us, as then we're able to say, okay, he's dealing with this giant thing. We know it's a hoax. We know it's a scandal they've set up, but he's still dealing with it. He ultimately really doesn't get any of the things he sets out to do done in the first term. I remember him wanting like $5 billion for the wall, and they're like, that's too much money. But then we send $300 billion to Ukraine. But then he comes in second term running on this really radical campaign of coming after the people that came after him. and he makes friends with those people, best friends with those people. And the whole story of the second administration so far has been him hanging out with them. And I feel fooled. I feel gotten at a certain level. And I want to believe in Trump. I want to believe that there was a time where he was for real. But the modern political culture is so disgusting to me just because of how much it reminds me of the time of 2020. It reminds me of when I went up with Owen in the InfoWars battle tank to a GOP event that was outdoors up in Dallas. And they had like 50-year-old women twerking to Trump rap music in the street. And it's the attitude of like, we're winning, we're winning. It's the giant victory that's here. And I don't need to see a Benny Johnson post about him going on a ride along where they're grabbing illegals to feel confident about the country. I don't need to see, I don't need to see Trump, doing a meme dance or shaking hands with the troops. I need to see Trump in the wars. I need to see Trump, in the inflation. I need to see Trump put the people in jail he promised he was going to put in jail. But it seems like the people that we always envision getting charged and having justice done to them, they're too high up because ultimately they're all implicated in the Epstein stuff together. So they could never get charged. They throw us a bone and they say, oh yeah, Brendan Clapper Comey, they're going to go to jail. Letitia James, she's going to go to jail. These aren't the power controllers. You can argue Brendan Clapper Comey for sure, FBI and whatnot, but this isn't, why isn't Hillary in jail?
She was some of the worst.
This is, what do you think of all this? Like the we're winning language. I feel like it's another version of the Q-tard stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking fake and gay. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Like I can't stand Benny Johnsons and the Farishes and all these guys that just sit out here and they literally lie through their teeth. Everything's going great. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Tonight I was like, what's going to be cheaper, going out to eat or going to the grocery store? And I already know that going out to eat is actually cheaper than going to the grocery store for me. But I was like, I'm going to try and go to Publix and I'm going to buy some stuff. I got like some peel and eat shrimp and some drinks and chips, and it was like $50 for like four things. I'm like, shit's not good right now. And it's like, you're too focused on, like, Trump is such a megalomaniac. He's an egotistical, narcissistic prick, man. And that's just the truth of the matter. Like, he only cares about his image, and then he'll tell you, even if he's doing the wrong thing, no, I'm doing it. No, inflation's good, or inflation's down, gas is low, food's cheap. And he'll just lie to you and tell you that it's good. No, it's not. Like, I'm out here living it. It's not good. And, I'm sick and tired of all this shit, man. Like, I'm sick and tired of these fake fucking grifters and these, e-celebs, constantly, bashing me because, I dare say that Israel controls our government. It's like you gotta
get
wake up
labeled
and
anti-Semitic. Anything bad you say about Israel, like, you could just like take the name Israel, take the entire like Jewish population out of it, and you just look at it like a black and white situation, and you're just talking about an issue. Just because the Jewish name is attached to it makes you anti-Semitic. And I'm like, I love Jews.
Well, I mean,
maybe I don't like what they're doing, but I definitely have a bunch of friends that are Jewish. I have no problem with the Jewish people, but like, I'm gonna call out what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. Ultimately, they've genocided and killed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. The Gaza health ministry numbers, I believe they're low, but I mean, 70,000 people in a city like twice or three times the size of Austin that's just getting bombed for 2 years, and they clear the houses of these people, they kill them, they put on the lingerie of the women they killed. Like, it's beyond anything. And people say, what about Sudan? What about Nigeria? What about the Christian genocides and whatnot? Are those being done with our weapons? No. Are the deaths in Israel caused by our hands? Yes, because we're giving them the munitions to do this. What do you think about the United States-Israel relationship, Joe? How are they intertwined? Because a lot of people, they'll say the United States runs Israel. Israel is just like our arm in the Levant to do what we want to do. Other people would say they control everything. What's your opinion on this?
Well, this is what I want to happen. When all these old boomers die off from old age, you're going to see a shift in America. The veil's been removed. We see through the lies. I don't believe that Israel's my greatest ally. I don't believe that lie anymore. I can see beyond the curtain.
Right.
And I think once more people wake up to that, things are going to get a lot better. But right now, Zionism is a major issue in the world, and it's literally, everybody goes, well, you're not talking about Muslims. I go, well, I have talked about them before in depth many times over the years. But they're a threat to like small crowds of people. Zionism is a threat to the American way of life. It's the biggest threat to freedom of speech in America. It's the
Totally
biggest
agree.
threat to our politics in general because APAC is paying off half of the fucking people in the Capitol. You know, the president's taken tons of money from them. So it's insane to say that they don't have control over our politics. They're buying up our social media. They buy up all the technology. Bibi Netanyahu literally makes threats on TV saying, you know, that technology, the cell phone? Yeah, that's because of us. And we've got a lot of those phones out there that are booby trapped, you know, and he's like talking about that after making statements when Trump said he would pull
He
aid
calls
from
it the
Israel.
eighth front of war. He calls it the eighth front of war. He talks about the info war in that meeting with the influencers where they're all together, and he goes, "Look, you know, in the past, you know, you use a sword, you use a spear. It doesn't work so well nowadays. Now we got this informational war, this eighth front of war. I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about."
Well, they're losing the information war right now, and that's why they're
Oh
panicking.
yeah,
That's why they got.
Yeah, they are.
That's why they got Shapiro flipping out. That's why they got Mark Levin making death threats, basically. And nothing's happening because they can get away with whatever they want. You know, Miriam Adelson is dropping $20 million to try to primary Thomas Massey in Kentucky. You know, what is a foreign-born person doing in our country influencing our elections? Like, why isn't this throwing up red flags? Why aren't we stopping that from happening? You know, APAC is a foreign agent. It doesn't need to be in our country. It needs to be banned and outlawed. And I want to know each influencer, what country they're taking money from, because all these people are like, "Oh, I'm America first." I was like, "Well, all the fuck you talk about is Israel." That does not sound like America first to me. But this is where America first is ridiculous, because America first means that there's a second and a third and a fourth. No,
Mhm.
I'm America only. Because right now we got our own problems to deal with. We need to be America only, not America first. Because that means Israel could be second, you know, Ukraine third, whatever. I don't believe that there's an order. I think right now we need to focus on us only. We need to focus on our veterans. We need to focus on our men and women. We need to get our health care fixed. We need to get our prices for food down,
I
gas down.
agree.
We need to stop chemtrailing the fucking skies
I
and
agree.
poisoning our people. We need to get poison out of our food. We need to get people healthy again. Stop promoting these fucking drugs that have these horrible side effects on TV nonstop. And let's stop fucking pushing propaganda down our throats nonstop. You know, like there's so much that's going on in our country that's fucked up that we don't have time, and we should not be sending money to Ukraine or to Israel without with if Israel didn't have America, Israel will not exist. If we pull away from them, they will not exist. They will be done and gone. The only reason
Yeah,
they
unless they
exist is
use the
because we
Samson
allow that.
option, you know, like that's the only problem is like they're, you know, they're the dog off the leash at this point. So if they feel threatened,
having the balls to be like, yeah, you know, we have nuclear weapons. Oh, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but we really do. And if we're ever threatened, if our territorial integrity is ever, you know, compromised in any way, we're just going to nuke everyone. And then we're told this is the most moral army in the world, that these are our friends. And then like I've really, you know, Tim, I've played a lot of clips for you, and you were like, wow, like of Smotrich and Ben Gvir and Netanyahu himself talking about, you know, hey, demolition's the most expensive part of any construction project. And
the foreign minister was talking about like just occupying it, or was it the finance minister?
We're talking about the finance minister here, but it's so sick that Trump would go and post like an AI edit of like a Trump Dubai city, and it's on top of a graveyard. Right. And the fact that we would even consider doing this and then have the balls to call ourselves, you know, like we're the moral people and we're helping the most moral nation in the world. But whenever we see these people talk about Israel, we played the Glenn Beck clip, but there's plenty of clips, they have this supernatural reverence for it where it's their God. And they literally worship the state of Israel. Like Glenn Beck is like, I'd be honored to stand with you spiritually.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, he literally begs for dual citizenship in the clip. He's like, I would like to be a dual citizen.
And I thought it was a bit, which is crazy. I thought he was just joking, and he was dead serious. But
there should be no dual citizenship. You should only be loyal to one country. You can't have allegiance to two places. It's just like God doesn't want you to be allegiant.
I disagree with that too.
I think that you should have to be a dual citizen to become president. I want to see, you have to have a citizenship to Israel, have to have a citizenship to Russia, have to have a citizenship to China. That's how it should be. And that's my opinion. Look, I know what you're going to say, Tim. I disagree with that. I totally agree with Biggs's point. Yeah, there should be no dual citizen influencing our elections or in our political system. I 100% believe that. Like Mamdani, he's from Uganda, for example, but he's a U.S. citizen, so he can be like.
I had something to say, and he just threw me the fuck off of that.
He was like, "Oh, good things," and he's like dual citizen. He's like,
"All right, well, go ahead, guys. Go ahead."
No, you threw me off. I wasn't expecting to hear that.
Here's my perspective. I know we talk about like the problems, and then we're like, okay, solution. I agree with some of the things you're talking about, Joe, as far as like the things we should be focusing on. The prices and all these other things. But I'm seeing a lot on the internet. People are like, well, let's just go back to the 30s, just isolate. And I don't think that's the solution. The problem with a lot of the issues that we have these days is because instead of just like dialing and adjusting the knobs slightly, we just throttle it to one extreme to another. And isolationism is one of those things that's just an extreme.
Yeah, but we've had 20 million people come in here.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't. Here's the thing: it's controlled migration. There's a difference. Like I don't even like what Trump's doing now with the extreme opposite of it, where we're not even just going after criminals anymore, and we're just going after like mothers and their kids.
Well, they have to do it, dude.
But yeah, I see where you're going with that, but I'm like looking at the numbers and the statistics.
We talked about this, and you talked about, Americans don't want to do the jobs like agriculture, like picking the fruit or whatever. Those 10 million people, 20 million probably, that came in under Biden when he said surge the border and all that, those people aren't critical to the economy. It's not critical to their life to live in the United States of America. They should all go.
It depends on who you were talking about, because this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time in our generation where the United States, before the policy that we had, if you go back in history, we literally had programs in place to have agriculture being done from overseas. I mean, from the Mexican border, because of the fact that like Americans didn't want to do that. Then they tried to revert that back, realize, oh, we're not getting enough people to do this. And it's an example of Americans not wanting the specific jobs. There are sectors where, yes, Americans do want those jobs. They're competing for specific jobs that they should be getting. But there are legitimate jobs here that just a Gen Z is not going to want to go out there and pick oranges.
I know that a lot of people that voted for Trump, myself included and Biggs included, wanted the people to put.
But you wanted everybody?
I'm a felon.
So question for you. Did you, with the immigration, do you believe that, like, let's say 20 million, it's like an all or nothing? You're saying like, if they all came in illegally, they all should leave pretty much. I want to understand your perspective, because I know what his stance is on this.
Well, I think this should happen in waves. I think that first we go after violent criminals. I mean, that's we go after the people who are actually a threat, a detrimental threat right now to the American people, a public safety factor, so to say. Anybody that's a public safety factor, we should be going after them first and getting them out of here.
Agreed.
And then from there, you start coming down and looking down at it. But right now, they're just rounding up anybody randomly, and then they're going, oh, this person happens to be violent or whatever. And I think that's kind of a fucked up way to do it.
Even if they've been here for a decade and had no prior history, I've seen cases like those where they're just wrapping them up with the rest of them. Like, dude, this guy's been here pro-American his whole life. So what does he have to do? There's a bunch of criminals that haven't been arrested yet. Why aren't we going after them?
I think that there could be, I mean, at the end of the day, if you came here illegally, it's still breaking the law. But if I break the law, it doesn't mean I'm going to get kicked out of the country either. But we should go after the violent people first and start working our way down based on threat. And if these are people who aren't even, if they're not contributing to society, if you're just leeching off and getting government assistance, you need to go. You shouldn't be here because you're drained on us. And then we can come down to the bottom where it's like, all right, you've been here for a while, you've been productive, and then we can look at the case by case, and see what we can do there. Because the country, we've always had immigration, but it needs to be done in a right way. But what we need to really start doing, though, is stop funding genocides and sending money to other countries.
Right.
And I don't mean like being an isolationist in a sense where we just shut everything down. When I say America only, we still open trade. We still do the normal things that we do. But we're just not sticking our nose in everybody's fucking business. We're not funding all these wars. We're
Right.
sending billions and billions of dollars all over the world when we could be using billions and billions of dollars here to buy new medical facilities and schools and housing that's decent for people and all kinds of shit. Our infrastructure is shitty. You look at China, they got railways all up and down the country. They've got beautiful fucking infrastructure all over.
Yep.
And here we are driving down pothole ridden roads with hardly any trains anywhere, without any of those fast trains going across the country. Fucking half our planes can't even stay in the fucking sky, you know.
Right.
And I think the rest of the modern world's looking at us like we're becoming a third world shithole because our
Yeah.
finances are so horrible. We don't know how to spend our money right, and we're not focusing our money in the places it needs to be. We should have a set of priorities from the top to the bottom. What's the most fucking important thing that we need to work on, and start checking these things off the list. Instead, it's just like Trump's doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and shaking hands and making videos and
It's
you know
schizo.
all yeah.
And the thing that I'm the most, probably the angriest about Gaza, so I won't say I'm the angriest about this, but the thing I'm most disappointed in for sure is the whole Ukraine-Russia debacle and the giant loss of opportunity. I mean, we're going to have to either work with Russia or China. We don't have the rare earth minerals, and we don't have the metals that they have that we need to be a world power, much less a superpower going into the future. And we've spent over 300 billion in Ukraine funding this puppet state of the EU and like the European Union and the European countries in general. They are the weakest nations on the globe, but we spent 300 billion in Ukraine, millions of people dead, and they're losing that war. And the area that they're fighting over, the Donbass, they're only fighting over that because it actually has all of the rare earth minerals. That's where all the deposits are in the entire country. Those people are Russian speaking, Russian ethnicity. They voted to leave. But in 2014, the United States helped run a coup called the Maidan coup, and Victoria Nuland was involved in this. And essentially, they took over that country. Zelensky was installed. He's like a Kevin Spacey character. Like, he literally played the president on TV. So he gets to be their president. And this is a guy that's never fought, never served in the military, comedian guy, like TV actor guy. And he's sending millions off to die back with our money. And they tell us back in the first Trump term, they say, hey, $5 billion is too expensive for the wall. You can't have that. We see this money get spent over there. Isn't that really just like the final? Have this giant bit of money we're able to summon through hyperinflation, and we spend it on the Ukrainians. What do you think about this?
Yeah, and you can't even get a fucking suit and look professional. It's like, what are you doing with that money, dude?
He looks
Shove it
horrible.
up your
Yeah.
ass. Yeah, you look like
Right.
fucking a peanut butter and coleslaw sandwich, man. Fucking jacked up.
Yeah. His sleeves are like all the
Look,
way up
I'm
to
gonna
here on
say
his
this.
hands.
I'm gonna say this. Fuck Ukraine. I don't give a shit about Ukraine. America only. Fuck
Yes.
Israel. Fuck
Good.
Ukraine.
Yes. Fuck Ukraine.
Fuck
I
Saudi
agree.
Arabia. fuck Qatar. Fuck Afghanistan. Fuck Iraq. I like Argentina.
Mm.
And I like Colombia. Colombia's nice.
South America's cool.
Venezuela. We love the Venezuelans.
Costa
Well,
Rica,
Trump's killed.
Fiji.
Trump's killed 64 of them now in the boats down there in Venezuela. What do you think about that? What do you think about those strikes?
Yeah,
Do you
it's
think those
making the
people are
cocaine
actually drug
prices. Yeah, it's making the cocaine prices go way up from what I hear.
Nice. Well, I mean, I don't believe they're traffickers at all. I think they're just people in little boats, and it's just like a show of force from our military. Like, we haven't seen any evidence presented. It's all
I don't know
extrajudicial.
how many little boats with like families go out at like 4 a.m.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But how are they supposed to get to America?
Some of them are real, but the main amount of drugs are coming from Colombia and Mexico. Like by far, you look at the stats.
I want a drone to get down there close, and I want to see the cocaine explode. I want to see like the white powder go. That way we know. That's how you get confirmation. Or just put me down there and I'll do a taste test.
Nice. Well, I mean, do you think we're going to be at war down there? Do you think that's actually going to happen? Do you think we're going to go try to take care of Maduro?
Look, it's so easy to read some people, but Trump's not a guy that you can read because he's like a fucking bouncing ball and like a
I'm
little.
not gonna do it.
It's just like
you said.
I'm not gonna do it, but I'm gonna
it's
do
like fucking Palm, man. He's all over the place. I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna ever do, man. Like, he's just so bass backward. It's just insane. Like, 1 minute he's hot, 1 minute it's cold. 1 minute he fucking hates Elon. The next minute he's fucking running around with his kids and shit. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, how about this? Yeah, there's probably a good chance. I mean, fuck it. I mean, it probably is.
Hey, we want that oil. That's what it really comes down to. This is a smokescreen. Everybody look
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here. We're gonna say it's drug dealers, but then the oil, the most, biggest reserve in the world.
Uh,
That's what we want.
I think they want to install the person that the person that won the Nobel Peace Prize is like a Venezuelan they've been trying to install down there for decades. And she goes, no, 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 I don't deserve this. President Trump deserves my Nobel Peace Prize. It's all just all the world's a stage, isn't it, Joe? Like it's all theater. It's all these little sound bites and moments. And I guess it gets the boomer excited at home and they clap their hands and they donate the last of their generational wealth into this political project. Isn't it gross to you? It's gross to me.
Yeah, man, make me the president. I'll fucking do it.
Right, right.
Joe, I got a question for you. I mean, I'm not calling you Unc, but you've been around longer than us. What did you back in your day when you're probably maybe our age, what did you feel like America was like? You've gotten to see way more of the history of what's happening.
Yeah, the
versus
timeline, man.
timeline. Like,
When I was like 9 years old, like 9 years old now is like to be a parent. My daughter's Savannah, she's 8 years old. All right. That's fucking frightening. Like I'm scared if I'm not at the bus stop in time because there's literally we live in a society now where fucking a large portion of our population are child predators. When I was a little kid, when I was 8, 9 years old, I would take a bus home from school. I would be playing out in the woods by myself, riding a dirt bike. I'd break bones, have to drag my dirt bike out of a creek and go hike through the woods with a broken collarbone or broken arm, and then sit there and wait for my parents to come home and then get them to call the ambulance or whatever. Today kids don't know how to do anything on their own. They're too dependent on cell phones. They don't pay attention to their surroundings. The parents don't teach these kids how to pay attention to their surroundings. And we get all these people getting kidnapped, raped, murdered, killed. Like I feel like society, like out there outside of your home, is a scary place to be now because it's like there are predators lurking around every fucking corner. You've got all these people who have been hopped up on medications their whole life, who are fucking bipolar now, schizophrenic. They're fucking shooting everybody up, driving people over in cars. Like
right.
when I was a kid, my mom could let me go to a fucking concert by myself and not have to worry about anything. Like I wouldn't have to worry about someone trying to stab me or rape me or anything like that. Like I could just go hang out and be a kid. But it's like now, everybody's kids are staying inside. So now all they do is play on their fucking phones. They have no good communication skills. And that's going to have a huge downfall in society down the road because here we are. We have people so addicted to looking at cell phones that they don't even make eye contact when they go out to dinner. I see couples sitting down at tables and all they do is play on the phone. Like, why are you dating each
Yeah, I've
other if you
seen it.
can't
It's
even
crazy.
sit down and have a conversation? Like, what's the fucking point? We're society today is it's crazy. Like I miss the times when I was a kid, the fun we used to have. Toilet paper in fucking Clemson University and getting chased by cops through the fucking soccer field in the back of a Corvette. And then the cops would just come over and like slap you on the wrist and call your parents. Now it's like if you do some hoodlum shit, the fucking cops are gonna shoot you and kill you.
Right,
And then ask
right.
questions afterwards. It's like everything is so freaking scary nowadays. It's We're like little fish in a fucking shark tank, man.
I feel like, I'm not trying to step on your point, Tim.
No, go ahead.
I feel like you remember InfoWars pre-Trump, right? You remember that
Yep.
time period? The language about the police state and the forced inoculations and, the coming like surveillance grid and all that. I feel like we're already there. I feel like we're living in it. It's here now. And I hear a lot of talk, the big win and all this. We're supposed to be positive. We're supposed to be excited, but I feel like we've never lived in a time that's been more controlled. I often imagine, the freedom of, living back in the like 90s or 2000s and just, maybe having a portable phone, maybe not taking notes, using maps, actually using your brain, using your mind. And we're in this system now. And
Yeah.
we've been told that there's a win and that we're in control. We're going to use the system for good. And I've heard Alex talk about this and I've heard him call it the ring of Mordor and all of this. And it's just like, what's the point of, making up an allegory for it if we're already here in it now? Like there's the surveillance grid, there's all the total top-down control. It's all here. We're just waiting for the economy to collapse so they can implement the digital currency. Like, is there a path out of this, or do we just have to sound the alarm? Just be like, hey, this is where we're at now?
I mean, as technology rises and becomes more prevalent and people become more dependent on it, the necessity to become a survivalist is key. The only way you're going to be able to survive in the future is to be able to disassociate yourself from technology from time to time. Kids or parents need to teach their wives, their daughters and sons survival skills. You need to learn situational awareness. You need to learn and train your mind to, when you're walking, to pay attention to the people around you. When you get onto a bus or a train or public transportation, to look at
Right.
the people there. And profiling will save your life, and paying attention to people's patterns will save your life. Maintaining discipline when you're walking through grocery stores and looking at stuff, noticing if cars are following you. Like, people are so stuck on social media that they're failing to pay attention to things around them, and that's why we're seeing more and more crime happen. Because, when I was a kid, we didn't have all that to look at. The internet was just kind of coming into play. Um, so we had to learn to walk around with our head up and talk and look and be and bounce around. And that's something that we've got to
Oh,
get back to.
I think I've talked about this with somebody before, but I've never talked about it on the show. Like, I think the double edge of social media is honestly, like, yeah, we can all say like, oh, it's the reason why it's chaotic. It really is. And it's also a big contributor to why people have gotten ideas. Like, I was born in 98. So like I still got like the last little taste of like dial up. I still remember the all that sound. And my dad had the Nokia walkie-talkie phone where you're just doing the chirp phone. Like, I still had the normal childhood before really the gear on social media got kicked up, and before the iPhone. Like, I can remember these days. But back then, school shootings never used to be a thing, and now they're so prevalent. But I think the reason why these things have become so prevalent is because, like, okay, when you go on social media, you're now getting new ideas. Before, you
The
had to
programming.
you're yeah, it's like now when people have anger or they feel upset, their thing is, well, I've seen somebody go and get attention from shooting up a school, and now I've been exposed to that idea. Okay, let me go and do that too. So like back, when you didn't have the social media, back when you didn't have the phones, only news was really just like whatever's happening maybe on a local or whatever was being controlled on a national, but people weren't getting like new ideas constantly in their feed of like ways to be degenerate and ways to like ruin society, because the information is not as widespread to like, oh, I can do that. Like, everything was a little bit more innocent. And now you've got 10-year-olds that are getting information, about I'm sure they're seeing school shootings. They're seeing all the different things on the internet that your parents can't control.
People crashing out,
Exactly.
violence. Yeah.
So then they get
I
new
mean,
ideas and they're raised with that.
well, then think about this too. I mean, that's social media has been such a great tool, but it's also been our biggest downfall. Look at the decline in, marriages, look at the decline in relationships between men and women. Now you went from, like you said earlier, being in your bubble. Like, you got your news, it was local, it was that area, that's what you heard about, unless it came on late at night, like on the nightly news, and you got to hear about some stuff that happened around the world. But back then, you met a girl and fell in love with a girl that you went to high school with, and you that was it. Your pond was small. But now they have dating apps, and now it's like you get
Yeah.
women and men who have this, they're brainwashed. Instead of going into a relationship, they go into a relationship with this idea that, okay, if this doesn't work, I can just swipe right again and find someone else. Like, that wasn't the mentality then. Like, you got into a relationship and you went, okay, this is it. Now we've got to fight and make this work. But now it's like, well, I've got all these options. So it's like, if this doesn't work out, well, I'll just swipe over here, or I'll do this
So
and that.
true.
So it's creating a void now, to where, and then you've got access to porn because of the internet, free, which is also contributing to relationship downfalls and things like that. Pregnancies and all that. So it's it's a great tool if used properly, but that's what we have to do to succeed in this world and to survive in it. Is we have to learn how to use it for its good, ignore its bad, and also stay with that old school mindset of situational awareness, looking around and trying to live kind of off the grid, have that same mindset. It's good to use GPS, but maybe you should leave the phone at home sometimes and drive around your city and just learn the city by memory, by memory and things
Yeah,
like that,
MapQuest was a good thing back in the day. I remember still having to print out the
Yeah,
maps and you figure out where
yeah.
to go directional wise, and you actually have to look. Now kids can't even read maps, let alone analog clocks, and it's
Well,
kind of
my
insane.
iPhone tells me everything I need to do, everywhere I need to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I know a
Yeah, I
lot of
mean,
people. Yeah.
yeah, we gotta get back out there and hunt. People are so disassociated from where food comes from. Like if I post a hunting picture, I'll get some crazy fucking blue-haired nitwit going, oh my God, that poor animal. I'm like, bitch, where do you think food comes from? Like, you think I just killed this fucking animal, then skipped off while I was listening to
Oh,
Thriller?
she
No,
waddles
I
to Chick-fil-A.
fucking
She goes to Chick-fil-A.
yeah. Like I gutted it and cleaned it, you dressed it and fucking quartered it and put it in the freezer and I ate it and fed my family. Like I'm not some barbarian. I'm not going around just shooting animals for fucking shits and giggles. I'm using it because God provided those animals for us to eat for sustenance and to maintain our health. And we're not eating good food anymore. We're eating shitty food that's created by technology yet again. So it's like technology is
Yeah.
good, but people still got to pull back and still live like they're, 90s badasses. We need to get back to, Rambo, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, all that shit, and, men,
Well,
alpha men.
I think now with the new age of AI, right? And the For You algorithm, honestly, TikTok did a number. It completely changed the social media scape. Even X sometimes is now becoming unbearable for me as I'm like, first thing on, it's like, what do you want to try to rage bait me about? Or let me see something chaotic that's happening. So the whole For You algorithm, I think, is something that's becoming the whole echo chamber. And
Right.
it was crazy. I gotta find this video, but there was this Russian KGB agent that, years ago laid out the exact timeline, and they basically
Yuri
said,
Bezmenov. Yeah, you're
yes,
talking about you're talking about I forget.
he basically said this is what the Russians are doing. He said we're gonna go in and slowly,
Demoralization.
yeah, we're basically gonna slowly tear apart America over decades. It's not gonna be something that people realize that's happening now. And I should have had this video ready, but like I honestly forgot about it. But he lays out exactly what the KGB and like this whole espionage. They're like, look, you do it over generations, and then you get them to fight themselves, and this is exactly how we're gonna do it. And it was like, holy shit, 30 years later, I'm like, this guy just played it bar for bar. He called it out, and maybe they did do something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, we live in a world of smoke and mirrors. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
all
you,
yeah, it's all
you gotta
fake and
read.
gay.
Yeah, you got to read Propaganda by Edward Bernays, Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky, Media Control, Noam Chomsky. You've got to get yourself in the game. You've got to understand propaganda and dark psychology because these are the tools they're using on you. And once you can understand their fighting style, then you can fight back. I'm beyond the name calling anymore. They used to call us white supremacists, Nazis, shit like that. I'm like, send it, dude. I don't give a fuck. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me a transgendered panda fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't give a shit. Like words don't hurt me. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And as long as I take care of my family and my family respects me, at the end of the day, that's all that fucking matters.
Right.
So, take care of yourself, stay healthy, keep your family healthy and safe, and you're a fucking rock star.
Well, that's beautiful, man. You know, I've known you for a very long time now, it seems for me, of course, like I'm 23, I'm pretty young. You were always one of the people I remembered the best out of the whole, classic InfoWars time period. You're always smiling, man. You're a happy guy. And that's how I remember you hunting and all of that. We had such a great time. I look back at that time period almost like, I guess this is just how time works, right? You get older, you look back at things that really are gone. Like that was such a magical time. And I was so like honored to know you, and I'm still honored to know you. And I'm thankful that you'd come on and do this stream with us, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I always had fun back then. I like that night Trump one, dude. I had my what was that? I had my bear coat on. I had an AR-15, a bottle of vodka, a cigar. I was getting shit housed. I was dancing around. I was having a fucking good
Right.
old time. It was Roger Stone. We are filming that documentary on Netflix, Get Me Roger Stone. And it was fun, man. I always had a blast out there. But you know, family comes first. My mom got cancer. I had a daughter, so I had to put things aside and come out here. But you know, I'm getting back into it again, and you know, God is good. And even though things seem bleak and shitty, and looks like there's no future for tomorrow, well, I got some news for you. That's not the case. God wins in the end, and we're going to kick ass, and we're going to keep doing what we got to do to expose the tyranny and the corruption. And to the guy who doesn't like my mohawk, go fuck yourself.
Beautiful.
Oh, you can see the chat too. That's hilarious.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean,
eat
look,
my
you
ass.
belong on the new network. You deserve a show on the Alex Jones network. I know they're going to line it up, and it's going to take like months for them to get the whole thing ready, but I think you're definitely going to be on there. I hope to be on there. And you know, people need to hear more of you and of your message. You've always been a phenomenal communicator, and I really enjoyed your time as a journalist at InfoWars. I loved your videos and your clips and everything. I just we talk about a lot of black pill stuff, and we get into the negativity of, oh, like things are so bad it's crashing down, but I'm happy to see you smiling, thriving, doing okay at the end of the day, and here with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You just got to wake up every morning and piss excellence. You know, that's what I'm going to
Beautiful.
continue to do.
Beautiful. We love it.
I would have asked where can people find you on X,
Yeah.
but that's not really a thing, you know.
Yeah, I'm like the most banned person in the fucking world. I have a gay ass Instagram though. I just started that. Let me see. I don't even remember what it is. It's at what is this motherfucker? Oh, Real Rambo Biggs.
Real Rambo Biggs. Follow him on Instagram, guys. Follow Real Rambo Biggs at Instagram. Let's pump the numbers up. Do the best we can with our audience. I mean, we're trying to get this thing started on the gray area. This is our like 18th live, but we've done other shows taped. Me and Tim are really enjoying doing this show and getting phenomenal guests on. And, you know, I think we got a real unique perspective on how you view American politics and the whole January 6th situation, but also just you as a person. And thank you for coming on tonight.
I mean, fuck, dude. Think about it. I'm 41 years old. I've been in 4 fucking wars. I have followed every terrorist attack that's happened since the fucking Charlie Hebdo thing that happened. I've been to other countries and investigated them. I've literally been in ISIS territory. I've snuck into borders, into cartel areas. I'm considered a gang leader and domestic terrorist. Run the like fucking helped run Proud Boy events. Fucking 4-year fucking felon prisoner. You know, so I've done crazy shit, and guess what? I'm only just getting started. So
he's a good American. That Joe Biggs, he's a good American. Yeah, man, you're a great guy. It's an honor to know you.
All right, guys, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you, dude.
Appreciate you for coming on.
The GOAT, Joe Biggs, ladies and gentlemen, joining us tonight. I mean, it's so incredible when you talk to people that are older than you and actually have a picture for how things have developed and evolved. Yeah, I mean, I noticed the thing that he touched on when talking about the past. I thought he was going to go to prices, you know, or like foreign dynamics, but he talked about, you know, like local safety.
Yeah.
And like that's something that's really gone away. As you talked about social media, it's globalized everything.
Yeah.
So anyone from anywhere in the world, especially anyone from anywhere in America can, you know, like tap into someone's life. Really.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case before.
And you're talking about like scammers, like just all the stuff that like I used to not even think about. Now I'm like, okay,
right.
Every day they're trying to hit me with a new scam, hit me with new money. But you know, I really enjoyed having an alternative perspective. It's weird because, you know, if I go back into my past when, you know, the whole January 6th thing happened, I was still a little bit more democratic at that point. So for me to see all of that, and I was in New York, so you know, a lot of the New York perspective, a lot of people are like, oh, these people are insane. And you know, as I've come more to the center, it's very interesting to have different perspectives. Now, you don't have to agree with everything that he said. You don't have to agree with everything that we said.
But it shouldn't have to be that way.
But it is what I'm saying. But in general, it doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation at the end of the day.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, it's definitely something that like I never thought I would be speaking to somebody who was part of the Proud Boys, because, you know, a lot of the black people in the community, they think, you know, these people are racist, they're bigots. You know,
That guy's not a racist.
yeah, and I didn't pick that up at all,
Yeah.
right? You know, so like it always goes to show you there's two sides of a story. So, you know, very interesting and enjoyable conversation for me to just get somebody else's perspective on things.
Right. And we'll definitely do a deep dive on January 6th. I had a bunch of questions I wanted to ask Joe, and maybe we'll get them on at a later time. That's definitely a subject that deserves a deep dive, and we'll be working on that. I think that has a lot of promise as a segment. Just in
Yeah,
general.
and when we do those types of segments or just segments in general, we're not really giving the political take on it. You know,
No, we're
or
giving a historical overview
facts
of just like these are what the facts are. You can make up your own opinion. A little bit of commentary, back and forth, of course, not totally bland, but yes, it's an informational overview at the end of the day.
100%.
And we're going to go into one of those very soon. You've got a phenomenal prepared segment on the government shutdown.
I am so glad everybody stuck around till now, and you guys need to stay tuned because this next segment coming up was something that I spent a very long time researching, and I spent a lot of time digging into the facts. Just to give you guys a little background, when I went and tried to find the evidence and the stories on like why are we even in the middle of this shutdown? You know, you've got the Republicans that are saying these things, and you got the Democrats that are saying these things, but what's the truth? How do I understand what's really happening? So I was like, you know what, this is perfect for everybody, and I'll be the one to spend the hours to do this. And it was something I really enjoyed doing. Ultimately, guys, I had to use resources directly from the government. I had to find not just going into articles. Even AI was trying to give me some a little bias, so I had to like take, you know, the differences between Grok and what ChatGPT was saying, and just fine comb through all the bullshit. And so the things that you're gonna see, take it with a grain of salt. You may like some of the things, you may not like some of the things, but you know, facts are
Well, look,
facts.
and here's the thing. Everyone likes to go, I know this, I know everything. Why would you dare try to teach me something? But look, like, I don't know things, you don't know things. The point is, we do the deep dive on the topic because the topic is culturally relevant to right now, and we have to understand where we actually are. People don't, government, what does that mean? I can't go to the post office? No, we're going to break down very specifically what it means, how it's affecting Americans already, and what it could do in the future. Tim, take it away. Let's get into it.
We're gonna do a little cut. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. We got a little thing coming up here. Okay.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. We're going to go into Tim's prepared segment now on the
As I
government
can get
shutdown.
this plugged in because I thought I was plugged in. All right, guys. I'm your doctor for the day, Dr. Tompkins. I'm here to cure everything you got going on. So there's a reason why I'm wearing this today, Rex. Do you know why?
Well, you're here to diagnose something.
I'm here to diagnose the problem that America has, but not just that. The main reason why we are in this government shutdown. Now, ultimately, it really does come down to one thing, and it's the main case scenario that everybody's debating over, but it's basically the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare is the main thing. But before we dive into that, we're going to just do a quick breakdown of the government shutdown and what the implications are and why we're in the situation in the first place. So let's go ahead and share the screen real quick. All right. So we're going to talk about when Congress can't agree on a budget. What ends up happening is the government loses the legal authority to spend money and it causes a shutdown. So essentially, you've got essential workers like military, TSA, you've got traffic controllers, border patrol, federal enforcement. They're still supposed to work because they're considered essential, but they're not being paid because the government hasn't been able to balance its budget. So non-essential workers are people like park rangers, IRS staff, you've got scientists, you've got office workers. Generally, those people are sent home. And every week that this agency, every week that the shutdown goes, it gets worse and worse. And these people rely on the paychecks. And I'm sure everybody has seen, they'll get back paid, but imagine you not getting paid this entire time and being expected to put in hella hours. So let's go into what's going on. So at the center of this, like I said, is the Affordable Care Act, okay? The Affordable Care Act is something that was issued by Obama back in the day. And the thing is, the Democrats and the Republicans are debating over this issue because it is something that has been part of the government's process this last year. The ACA and all the things that are coming out with this were supposed to expire. So let me help you guys understand what Obamacare is, and we're going to talk about it in terms of a subsidy. Yeah. So let's go ahead and click to this next one.
Just let me know when you need me to.
Scroll in. Go ahead and read what a subsidy is for these people.
Subsidy, meaning it generally aims to promote a public good such as education, healthcare, agriculture, or renewable energy, and to lower the cost of goods or services for a consumer. Definition: a subsidy is a form of financial assistance provided by the government to support a specific economic sector or activity.
Okay, so subsidies are exactly what this whole issue is about. So you've got back in 2021, or really before that in 2010, Obama comes out with a plan in order to get underinsured Americans health insurance. So in 2021, what ended up happening is Biden had this program called the American Rescue Plan, which basically boosted the subsidies that were being provided for the people that were on Obamacare. And so those enhanced subsidies were extended through 2025. They said 2021, we're going to pay more and eliminate what we call this cliff, this 400% cliff. It'll all make sense once I guys go through the chart and show you guys, but just understand that there was no cliff anymore, where there was a sudden drop off for people who qualified for this program. And essentially what's happening is if this thing is not solved by the end of 2025, you're going to see those subsidies that were boosted by Biden's American Rescue Plan disappear. So the Democrats want to extend it so that people don't just get crushed by the higher premiums that come once this is gone. But the Republicans, they want it to expire, and they want to go back to the original way that the Obamacare was written prior to Biden, because they're like, you're spending a bunch of money. But we need to actually understand what even is Obamacare and what it was like before 2010 to really understand the importance. And we'll come to this chart in a little bit, but the main thing that we need to understand is back in 2010, United States healthcare system was a complete disaster, guys. If you had a big company, they had jobs and they had benefits and everything, But if you were self-employed, or working for a small business, or you lost your job, you were basically screwed. Small
Right.
businesses were getting hammered by rising premiums from expensive healthcare costs rising, and they started dropping healthcare insurance for their employees' benefits because they just couldn't simply afford it. Okay, and so if you tried to buy your own insurance, companies could actually deny you for pre-existing conditions. So, like if you had asthma, if you had like diabetes, maybe pregnancy depression, or even acne, they could actually decide and exclude what you actually needed from the actual care plan that you had, or straight up deny you for the insurance overall. And then also sometimes, because you were considered a risk, they could be like, well, you know what, we'll charge you more because you're a higher risk. So this became a massive issue back before 2010. And so back in 2010, you had about 50 million Americans that were underinsured or had no insurance whatsoever. And you're pretty much at that point, you're one bad accident away from having a major bankruptcy. So this is where Obama steps in. He's like, this is one of the things that he ran and campaigned on. And, he did try to follow through to his best of his ability with something like this. But essentially, he created this thing called the Affordable Care Act. And the reason why they call it Obamacare is because Obama was the one that pushed this and made it. But it's really called the Affordable Care Act. So basically, the goals of the Affordable Care Act was essentially, okay, we need to make insurance affordable. We need to protect people with existing preconditions, and we need to have a slow way for rising healthcare costs. So now we can go to this next chart, kind of show you guys the pros and cons. And look, we're having to set the backdrop for all of this so that you guys are fully informed and fully understand what's going on, because the history is always proving what's happening in the future. So these are the pros and cons of Obamacare. But in general, with Obamacare, there were rules that they set. Okay. So you're not the insurance essentially with Obamacare and how they put these systems out there. They said, okay, there's no denying or dropping people for pre-existing conditions. You got to cover essential health benefits and hospital care like pregnancies, prescriptions, mental health. And then kids can stay on their plan until 26 years old. And then the employers, essentially companies with 50 plus employees, have to insure or they pay a fine. Didn't matter how big your small business was. If you had 50 plus people, this is what they were going to do to you. And then you had a marketplace for subsidies, essentially. So people can buy insurance on healthcare.gov, and the government gives them like income-based subsidies to lower their monthly premiums and get you the help that you needed. And essentially it expanded Medicaid and expanded the include low-income adults above the poverty line. And then it also, some of the states refused, so there was a lot of fees that came with this. But if you look at this chart, guys, you got pros, you got cons, but essentially, the pros of this is like, yeah, I mean, you had millions of people that were now insured. I mean, you had people that had pre-existing conditions, they weren't getting denied anymore. And then you had, 10 essential healthcare plans that were now covered. And then obviously staying on your parents' plan until you're 26 has actually kind of benefited me, because I was definitely using my parents' plan back in the days when I was
I'm still on my dad's.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, not everything was so bad, but here's the cons. So the thing with how this works is you also now have new taxes that need to be able to fund this, because a subsidy is not just magically appearing. It has to be put on the balance sheet. It's something that's coming directly from the government, guys. So there was an individual mandate that made the penalty, like if you weren't going to go and take and follow these the new insurance rules, they were basically taxing people who didn't want to use Obamacare. So even if you were just a regular guy who had your own private insurance and you decide, okay, I'm not going to switch over to this, ACA actually taxed you and you were still paying into that program as like a small penalty for not using it. So that's pretty wild. And then also, prices still rose overall. So it wasn't something that's sustainable. So now we fast forward, guys.
And notice that really
go
quick,
ahead.
really quick though, is say, oh, we're going to slow the price increase. We're going to slow it down. We're going to slow it down. And then this is how we get to, it's unrelated, but it is related because it's an economic issue. This is how we get to where Trump now says, oh, food is cheaper. It's like, no, food is more expensive. Just the rate of it getting more expensive is slightly slowed down.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Tim.
So, I mean, let's go ahead and fast forward to 2021. Okay. So, no, we'll leave it here. So pretty much what happens is, in 2021, like I said, Biden came out with this new plan. He basically increased the subsidies for everybody because obviously COVID happened. You had a lot of people that were struggling financially, and this was one of those things he wanted to do for the Democrats and get a win, essentially. So we'll look at this chart, and it basically what he did was remove this 400% above the poverty line. I know it doesn't make any sense right now, but it will make sense once I break down this chart. You can go ahead and move to that real quick.
I will.
All right. So, like I said, that plan that Biden had put in place in 2021, guys, was set to expire in 2025. It was only temporary, and that is why the Republicans and the Democrats are debating this issue right now, because here in about a month and some change, those subsidies will go away and that plan will disappear. And no one's really talking about exactly what's going in. Now, this chart looks very confusing, but I'm going to break this down for you in a way that you guys can digest. These are real numbers. These are real facts. These are things that you guys can actually digest and look at and understand why this is so controversial that these subsidies are going to disappear. Okay. So for this example, we've got a couple that lives in Miami. They're over the age of 55 and they are on what we call the silver plan. The silver plan is just like the
old
basic
motherfucker.
Yeah. Silver plan is just the
I'm on the silver plan now.
It's the base plan essentially for Obamacare plus whatever subsidies. So one other thing you need to understand is everything is based off of the federal poverty line, FPL. You'll see that throughout, but that is 21,000 for a couple. It's like 15K for somebody who's individual. Okay. You'll see on the left side, you'll see all these percentages. All you need to understand is that in order for the government to calculate how much money they are going to give you in order to pay and help offset the costs, you lie somewhere, depending on how much you make, you lie somewhere a percentage above the poverty level, which is that second bracket. Okay. So for example, if you make around 21K, you are 138% over the federal poverty level. If you make over 400%, your couple household income is about 90,000 a year. Okay. Does that should make sense now? Okay.
Right, just think about two people making 45 grand.
Exactly. Yeah. Together, that is their household income, 90,000, that it puts you in the 400% bracket. Okay. So like I had mentioned before, if you look, that cliff is something that we need to talk about. Essentially, let's say you make 91,000. Okay. Back in the old Obamacare, when you made 91,000, it puts you, let's say 400.01% over the poverty line, federal poverty line. You didn't get any subsidies whatsoever. Yet that $1,000, does it really make any difference in your life, Rex?
No.
Macro level, no. So this is what Biden came in and was basically like, okay, well, let's remove this cliff, which is the steep drop off, and we'll make it so that even if you make above 400%, we will make you only pay 8.5% of your plan. Okay. And we'll pay the rest. And so that is what the subsidy is. So that middle income bracket, that middle line there, if you guys see on the left side, and let me get control of this so I can point here. All right, let's make this easy. Each bracket is showing a percentage. So when you say 0 to 2%, is depending on where you lie on your income. Essentially what's happening is that you're only going to have to pay about 2% of the actual premium. And the premium, again, is $1,800 a month, guys. Okay. So if you make $40,000, you're only going to have to pay $70 a month with the Biden version of the Affordable Care Act. Okay. So if that subsidy is removed, and this is where the Democrats are arguing, the percentage that you have to pay is going to increase because the old Obamacare, these were the percentages. Okay. So now, instead of paying $70 a month, that same person has to now pay $217 a month. And that's a monthly increase of $147.
Well, let's go down to the 400% plus.
This
line.
is where the main issue is coming from.
So you're saying you got maybe, let's say the wife is like a manager at a store and the husband is like a security guard. They're both making around $45,000 a year.
Mhm.
$1,800 a month is a lot of money.
It is.
That's a lot of money. That's like a fourth of their paycheck.
Yes. And that is why Biden had that in the first place. But again, you're not talking about the macro issue is like, why is it $1,800 a month? It's because healthcare is that expensive and the premiums are that expensive, and we're not addressing the root issue. But essentially what happens is, yeah, you're increasing it $36, 201. And maybe that is a stretch for some people, and that's really expensive, $200 only on 63K.
It's okay. Everyone will just make 84 grand and be happy forever.
Right. But the main issue is this cliff, guys. As soon as you go back to the original cliff, all of these people that are making more than $90,000 a year, they no longer get the subsidy with that Biden plan disappearing. And now you're responsible for that $1,800 a month. Can you imagine that? Like all of a sudden overnight, you're going from a payment of $638 and then the thing expires. People become reliant on it.
Does this expire in January?
This expires literally at the end of this year. That's
It's
why they're
fun
debating.
time. It's getting better.
So
in
the Democrats
America.
have drawn the line in the sand, guys. They basically said, okay, you know what? This is the issue that we're going to go to war for. And there's a bunch of different issues, but this is one of the primary issues that they are basically debating over. And they're basically saying, we're not going to let people's health care go up. That's when you see them preaching, hey, if the Republicans get what they want, you will be paying more in healthcare. And they're not wrong here, guys.
Maybe the whole point of the snap shutdown and the Democrats being like refusing to move on it in any sort of way is they're like, yeah, once we show people, hey, your food will be taken away, your healthcare will be taken away, maybe you'll vote for us again. Right.
But you know what? Here's the thing. The Republicans also do have a point too. There was a push, with the whole Doge and everything that they were trying to do with that. They're trying to lower cost in the healthcare system, just in the government system overall. And they understood people have become too reliant on the government and we're spending too much money. Now, where you're saving money and where you're spending it is another question. But ultimately, their argument is, well, we should go back to the old way because we'll save some money this way. And we're spending way too much on these subsidies as healthcare costs are rising.
Right.
But then, okay, this is the argument. We're saying, okay, I agree with that point. We can't have the government keep paying these subsidies. But the problem is the Republicans don't actually have another plan for Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. And the issue with that is if you don't have another system in place, there are people that are going to get hurt because Biden already made the mistake of making people reliant on something like this. And now having that subsidy disappear overnight is something that's not going to feel good.
Right.
So the Democrats were in the wrong for that. And then there's also one other issue that they're talking about, which is like, okay, well, the government is paying a lot of money into this. And the Democrats also want to remove that. That way, or the Republicans want to remove that because there's something with immigration. So I'm not going to do a super deep dive on this, but basically what you need to know is that states have their own budget, federal have their own budget, and there are states that pay for immigrants' health care like in an emergency room. And so they have a pile of cash because the Affordable Care Act is only for American citizens only. That was one thing that Obama did. I kind of agree with it. He said this money is for American citizens only. If you're an immigrant, you don't get subsidies. Okay. But that meant that the states who really wanted to help the immigrants out, they said, okay, well, we'll basically we'll cover it.
Yeah.
Now, if Obamacare goes back to the original plan and all those subsidies disappear for all that money, the state is going to have to pay more money into the system to offset the cost of the rise in cost, and that has less to go to immigrants. And that is one of the debates that the Republicans are trying to say is like, well, the states just want more money to give to immigrants. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. It's very interesting stuff.
Okay. So we're talking about all of this, but the thing is the government is just really bad at, second, third order thinking. We're only thinking first order thinking.
Right.
The everything is just we're looking at the immediate thing and we're not looking at the macro problem. And this is where I really got into the weeds, guys. Like, this is the point at which I was like, okay, this is the problem. This is why they're shutting the government down. Okay, what do we do about it? Why are we in this situation? And it comes down to America being the most expensive healthcare system in the entire world. The entire world. Let's pull up this chart for everybody to understand. Okay. This is based off of 2021 numbers, but the numbers have gone up since here. This is the only numbers I could find in a nice graphic for you guys. But just look at all these first world countries. The UK is not even, we're over double the amount of healthcare that we have to pay per capita. So with the United States being the number one spot, it drives the macro argument. Why are we spending so much money? And you would think, well, maybe, Americans, they go and see the doctor more. Now, if we go to this next chart, we're going to see the truth of that. Okay, so it's actually South Korea leads the countries that have the most visits. And we only have the average American visiting 3 a year. Okay, versus the 16, they've got an aging population and it's more. So we can't use the argument, oh, well, maybe Americans just go to the doctors more, cost more money, and maybe we're consuming it. No, this isn't the issue. So we're going to now watch this video that's going to explain why America has the most expensive healthcare. And the thing is, pause it real quick.
I will. You're good.
The thing is here, if you think about it, everyone else has figured out how to have free healthcare systems for their country. America hasn't figured this equation out yet. And it's just mind-boggling. So this is where the segment kind of is now going, to really understand the root causes of what's going on and why America, their healthcare system is so broken to the point that we have Congress that can't even agree on figuring out a solution to the macro things so that we can benefit Americans and we can open the government. So let's go ahead and watch this. It's muted. So
hospital discharges, you can get rid of one. If you look at the data on physician visits and hospital discharges, you can get rid of one theory. Americans don't consume more healthcare than people in these other countries. We don't go to the doctor more than the Germans or the Japanese. In fact, we go to the doctor less. The difference between us and them is that we pay more. Every time we go to the doctor for everything from an angioplasty to a hip replacement, from a C-section to a pain reliever, in America, the price for the same procedure at the same hospital, it varies enormously depending on who is footing the bill.
Grifting.
The price for someone with public insurance like Medicare or Medicaid is often the lowest price. These groups, they cover so many people that the government can demand lower prices from hospitals and doctors, and they get those lower prices. If the doctors and hospitals say no, they lose a ton of business. They lose all those people on Medicare, all those people on Medicaid. But there are hundreds of private insurance companies, and they each cover far fewer people than a Medicare or a Medicaid. And each one has to negotiate prices with hospitals and doctors on their own. And if you're uninsured, you have even less leverage. Nobody is negotiating on your behalf. So you end up paying the highest price. One study found that most hospitals charge uninsured patients 4 times as much as Medicare patients for an ER visit. Other countries, they don't have this problem. Instead of every private insurance company negotiating with every healthcare provider, there's just this big list. Country, the central government, they go and they say, if you want to sell to us, to all of our people, then here's what you can charge for a checkup. Here's what you can charge for an MRI
and we don't
or a
do
prescription
that.
for Lipitor. So then whether that bill goes to the heavily regulated private insurance companies in Germany or directly to the government like in the UK, each country is telling the doctor or hospital or drug company how much that bill
I'm going to pause it real
and
quick.
Because the government controls access to all of the customers.
This is why the prepared segments are so good, is because I had figured that something like this might be the case. I didn't really know. I didn't understand. It makes sense that like the government's like, okay, yeah, this is how much this should cost. This is how much this should cost. Here it's like, make it up. Make as much money as you can.
They're
That's
like-
capitalism. Yeah, like that's crazy.
No, literally. when I was literally consuming this content and just like trying to understand, I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? How do we even allow this
Right.
to happen? And it's so crazy to me, the fact that like the solution was always right in front of us. It's like it's a layup. It's like we just had to choose the right system in the first place. You could have just been like,
Oh, can't do that. No.
America never gets it right the first
Here's
time.
the argument to me. This is how I imagine the pharma reps and the lobbyists. This is how I imagine they talk about it. In America, we have the best medical service around. And that's why these hospitals and these doctors with the highest track record, they should be able to, charge whatever they want to charge for these surgeries. Now, that's the free market, and it's beautiful.
It is.
And what that is like, we're scamming you. We're running a monopoly where, it's like in gas, right? If one company lowers the price, the other company lowers the price, and they try to gouge that way or raise it, excuse me. It's the same with the medical people, right? Because if anyone gets to set the price, they're just going to set it sky high from baseline. And then the baseline will look like an improvement from anything else because there is no baseline. It's literally creative mode.
Right.
They can do whatever they want.
They're like, let's pick out a price for this. I like,
Right.
How about you pay $10,000 for this?
That's right. $6,000, please. I broke my arm. I didn't realize it was going to be this expensive. Yeah, well, you see, we're the top hospital in the nation, and we ran all these tests on you.
Well, and just think about it. You're talking about 3 visits a year. Why is that? Why do we do 3 visits a year? You go to the doctor once, right? And you go to the emergency room. That's like a fucking $5,000 bill.
Yeah,
just
1 or 2 times. Oh, I went to the emergency room. My roommate and buddy Jack, he had his birthday last year. Went to play paintball up in the Frisco area, and I ate like a bad like microwavable pizza, and it made me like really sick, and I was like puking up blood.
Oh my
And
god!
shit. I think it was because I was like vomiting a lot, so I like tore my esophagus or something a little bit. It's not that big a deal, but.
Just you were only dying.
Yeah, I went to the ER, and they're like, like here's like pills to calm your stomach down. And that was fine. It wasn't that big a deal, but it really hurt. And I get the bill in the mail like a month later. It's like, yeah, it's like $800. Like you will pay $800 for us giving you a once over visually just looking at you. And then,
didn't even fix the problem.
yeah,
did
well,
they?
man, what did they give me? They gave me like ondansetron or something. They gave me something for my stomach to like make it stop moving. But I mean, like that's why Americans they see the ambulance, they run away. Like a broken leg, you're like hobbling down the street. No, I'm fine. Don't take me.
You're like profusely bleeding. You're like, no.
It's cheaper for you. It's actually thousands of dollars you'd save if you were just bleeding out. You get someone to drive Uber to the hospital. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The Uber is gonna be fucking cheaper than the freaking just the check-in.
Right.
So this begs the question. It's like, okay, well, we've got such a cooked financial system when it comes to healthcare. What is it like in other countries? What do other people think about it? And this next video is pretty funny because there are other people around the world. They're all experiencing what it's like. Just pause it.
I got it.
They're all just trying to figure out, okay, they're testing these people on, okay, do you know about American healthcare system? And these are their raw reactions. So let's go ahead and watch this one.
Oh,
Dudes, what's going on?
Show them that US healthcare
Oh my god!
didn't go well.
It's making me so mad.
Making
That's an interesting guy. Hold on a
Imagine
minute.
you're in America.
Hold
Which of these
on.
options would be best for you?
That's a lot to think about.
What is it? An Oop Max?
I guess with what I got here, I would go with Plan D because the deductible is 0.
Okay, there's more.
Gold, HMO, PPO, HMO.
And what?
In Canada, I don't have to really think about the different plans that I could pick from.
You just pay one amount per month, and all the major treatments are covered.
At
least 70% of our medical expenses are always covered. Here in Japan, Even if you lose a job, you would never lose your health insurance.
Boo, we don't
you
like
lose
that.
your job,
We don't like that.
That's when society should help you.
The average price per unit for insulin in 2018.
Look at this.
Germany,
Look at this.
$11.
Canada's $12. Wow. It's like 8 times the price of.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about this number. I always see this thrown out.
Emotional damage.
I always see this thrown out. You can go buy insulin at Walmart. You can go buy Humalog at Walmart for like $20. So I'm not sure.
Depends on what the insulin is, but this is in the past too. But like also, this is indicative of other products where it's just like this. By the way. So not just insulin. Yeah, there might have been something that came out more recently to lower the cost.
I see what you're saying.
But like overall, this is epidemic of the situation. So
insulin in Canada. I guess that explains why Americans come up to Canada to buy medication.
Right, so I'm looking at
All right. So audiology, they listen to your ears or something. $200. Blood, $600 for blood, expensive. Cardiology, it's $2,000. Laboratory, $31,000.
That's a fucking car,
right? It's not that expensive. It can't be that expensive to actually do the work. Maybe it is, but that's all profit for them. They're eating that up. Pharmacy. $60,000.
Will buy me a Ford with that.
Yeah, $60,000. Yeah, this makes me so angry. Like, what happens if you have cancer? What happens if you're actually dying? What happens if you break every bone in your body and are like,
you're cooked?
It's over
cooked
for you. Like, there is no life. Therapy services, $99. How sweet.
American medical bill.
Why is it so expensive?
$8,000. Oh yeah, the room and care. All right, so if you went to La Quinta and you got a hotel room and you were in there for 2 months, 2 months. All right, what are we talking? A few grand, maybe. To have a nurse come and give you a sponge bath and like wash your ass.
Now this is probably over the course of like a long time period, but even then,
I don't give a shit. La Quinta for a year can't be more than $60,000 or something like that.
Rooms and such empty spaces. What?
Much cheaper.
Something's going on with his nose there. It's interesting.
Skin to skin after a C-section is $39.
I had to pay $39.35 to hold.
Pay up, bitch! What, you think this is your kid or something? You think this came out of your pussy? Pay up now. You're gonna pay us the $90 and you're gonna get to hold the child.
Yeah, you need to pay $39.
Yo, did you? Hey! You forget to bring your purse to the fucking delivery room? You don't have a fucking card or a check or cash right now? I'm sorry. We're going to have to wait until your husband gets here, lady. You just pop that critter out. You're going to have to pay for it.
So now we're laughing at this. This is, we're making light of it, but it's a really serious thing at the end of the day. It's like
we are so broke.
That's what's going to happen every single time you go to the hospital. No wonder they want to do 3 visits a year, because you got to pay $40 to hold your baby. I'm sorry, who gave you the authority?
I think that we're being too nice to the American people. That's not nearly enough money. I mean, to be fair, to cut open your stomach, C-section for $3,000. I mean, it shouldn't be like that, but
this is 2016, by the way. So just keep in mind, guys, these numbers.
Oh, nice. So you time traveled.
I time traveled.
Like even beneficial and still horrible.
This was cheap. This is what the people were like in the 50s. They were just enjoying these low prices. I don't even know what it is now. I got to figure out what the numbers are, but this is 2016, guys.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back to us real quick. So yeah, I mean, this is just, we're cooked, guys. I mean, the healthcare system and the privatizing and people just making money and the grifting, $40, you saw it, $40 for holding your baby. So it just begs the even higher macro argument is like, okay, so, all right, we're in the situation. Who's actually the one that's going to the hospital? If there's 3 people, if it's 3 times a year, there has to be a specific group. And you would think, You know, it's like, okay, well, it's probably a random group of people and like everybody's going to the hospital. No, it's actually what's happening is 5%. And let's go and show this graphic real quick. This is going to shock you guys. This is current 2022, current enough, but 5% of the people of the highest health spending account for half of the total spending. Think about that. I'm going to say it again. 5% of people pay for 50% of the healthcare cost. They are taking 50% of the cost. That's what it's going towards, is that 5% of people.
And this is the key right here, because this is why, you know, people would always say, like, you know, healthcare is too expensive. We can't pay for healthcare for everyone. It's too expensive. We have like giant autoimmune disease, like land whales, that cost
big
millions of dollars to maintain, to like keep these people alive. Yeah.
It's like Wall-E, you know, you got a bunch of Wall-E people sitting in the chair going around trying to scoot around. And like, when's the last time you've been to the hospital besides that incident? Like on a normal basis, like how often?
To the hospital, never to the doctor, like just a check up, you know, physical once a year type of thing, ER, tummy hurt type situation, who knows? But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, it's people that have, you know, like 4 or 5 or 6 chronic conditions. It's people that have problems walking. They have to go to the podiatrist, these specialists. And like when you have these diseases, it's a constellation of symptoms. Someone that's obese, they need a bone doctor, like osteopath. They need a foot doctor, like a podiatrist. They need an endocrinologist because fat, PCOS made me fat.
Right.
Like they have to go see like 5 or 6 different specialist doctors. And then our system is geared to where those specialist positions, they charge the most, they make the most money. That's how this all shakes out at the end of the day. It's not like $1 million checkups. It's someone waddling in, they have to keep alive.
Right. And so where do you think that we fall? We're over here, guys.
Yeah.
We're part of that bottom 50%, you know?
Right.
And we only contribute to about 3% of the healthcare cost. 3%. And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching, there's a bunch of you guys, we're not trying to insult anybody, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that fall in that bottom 50% who aren't, you know, they're living pretty relatively happy, healthy lives and aren't going to the doctors. So they're part of that 3%.
I want to step in here just really quick. I've been looking at the chat throughout the night, and like I see you, Jackson, and I see that you don't like the way that we're covering this, as in like me specifically, like giggling about it or laughing at it. What else am I supposed to do? Okay. What else are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to change the system? I don't know. Get people informed on it. So that's what we're doing tonight. And if we have a little levity, have a little fun, wear the costume and whatnot, that's a part of the show.
Yeah.
So like we're just we're just doing the show here.
I could be up here giving you guys the boring long form segment where this feels like you're in the middle of like history, the history show or whatever on TV, and just boring you guys to death. But the thing is like these things, like I said, I had mentioned before, they are serious, but it's almost so bad that it's comical, the fact that we're in these situations.
And I think me and you should put on Hitler outfits and tell people to overthrow the government. I think that's we have to be serious.
Somebody's gonna clip that.
Well, we have to be serious, right? We have to tell people to rise up and all this. No, fuck that. We're doing coverage of the news, of current events. We're doing a deep dive into this situation. And look, this is stuff that I didn't know. It's stuff that maybe, I Obamacare. I represent myself as knowing it, maybe, but sitting here realizing that, hey, actually, there is no blueprint for how much these services should cost. It's literally like we're the only country in the world that has a blank sheet for the medical people to come up with how much they're going to gouge us.
Right.
Looking at the statistics where 5% of people with the coverage are spending like half of the money. Like this is the real data that we're talking about here. And a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this.
And don't worry, we are going to come down to the solution. We're working our way. We're here
we
as a family.
To do it all.
We have to cover everything. We can't just
all.
Jump immediately to solutions. We got to understand why. That's the problem with the government today. We decide to go in instead of just looking at the problem and actually figuring out why is the problem there in the first place. We just immediately go to solutions.
Right. And
immediately.
Context is required. And we talk about this when we criticize our leaders. We say they make tactical decisions instead of strategic ones. We're trying to be strategic here by understanding the problem. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay. Let's read this real quick. You want to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, for sure. In 2022, the top 5% of people with the highest health spending accounted for half of total health spending and had an average of $67,300 in health expenditures annually. People with health spending in the top 1% have average spending of over $147,000 per year. That's six figures on the blimp creatures. At the other end of the spectrum, the 50% of the population with total health spending below or equal to the 50th percentile accounted for only 3% of all total health spending. The average spending for this group was $374.
Okay, so now that begs the question. You would think, okay, well, who make up that 5%? Surely it's not just all blimp people. Surely it has to be people who are some people who have chronic, but it's actually a lot of the healthcare problems that we have are actually preventable. 80% of them are actually preventable. And if you don't believe me, let's look at this real quick, okay? Chronic illness is up to 80% completely preventable. And it's a little known fact that there's up to an 80% chance that one's chronic illness is completely preventable. Understand that. According to the California Department of Public Health, up to 80% of cardiovascular disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and over 30% of cancers could be completely prevented by eliminating tobacco use, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, and the harmful use of alcohol. Most of these recommendations are obvious on how it could be implemented, but smoke, don't drink, start moving around. But eliminating an unhealthy diet likely requires some guidance for most people. Okay, this is one of the things that we're talking about. This is one of the solutions, but it's like, how do you get to this level where you have enough people that are doing this and making the right decisions even take their...
This is what RFK was supposed to promote, right? Was getting people in shape and healthy. I haven't seen that much movement on that front. I mean, but realistically, it wouldn't be that hard to theoretically go into the schools, right? And have RFK go to the schools and go,
oh,
you're all too fat. You're all...
They did it with smoking.
Yeah.
You remember Smokey the Bear? Guys, do you guys remember Smokey the Bear? Or even the...
You could look just like me.
Oh, yes.
And the fucking lady who has no fucking...
You're making me not want to smoke.
She's got a hole in her thing. And she's...
That's pretty good, actually.
She's literally like that. I see that before every single... That's crazy. Oh, my God. This is jogging my memory back. I didn't even plan this. Guys, look. That commercial used to appear before, just like the Disney movies. That shit you would just pop up in the middle of the thing, and it would scare me to death. And I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to end up like that lady, so I better not smoke. Where is all that now? Now I go to fucking Austin, and I'm going, like, let's say we go downtown and we're going like out to just a regular event. The event is literally promoting nicotine. You got Zyn. You know, I think
that's harm reduction.
But
look, we're gonna fight about this.
You've got not just that. They had all the other tobacco places there, just like the cigarettes and shit like that. And I'm like, what is going on? You had vapes and stuff like that, and those are better than smoking cigarettes. I will say that, but ultimately that's just an example, maybe not the one.
It's all bad. Everything kills you at the end of the day, but you're talking about the direct promotion of harmful products.
Exactly. Okay. So you're hitting the nail on the head as far as like, okay, this is where the solution. It's like, why isn't the government spending money on programs to prevent? Now you would think, okay, let's go ahead and just implement the same system that we have across the rest of the world, and this would all be fine. We'd be able to fix this. And it's not that simple. We're gonna go back and then just pull up that. Go to that
switch though.
Go back to that the top 20 link. It's on the Chrome. Remember the link of like the top 20 politicians getting paid.
Oh yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, pull that up on it's on that tab.
I'll find it.
So here's the thing. It's like, okay, well, we should be able to just go ahead and go back to the old system. No, the problem is we already got the ball rolling down the hill. Okay, so
look,
when
you're about to slander all these beautiful people that
I'm next on the list.
They have made millions and tens of millions protecting us and giving us the best healthcare in the world. How dare you talk bad about people?
I'm cooked, guys. As soon as I release this and give you guys all this information, the FBI is going to be knocking on my door. But
Black helicopter.
All of these pharma and medical places have made a shit ton of money. They have made so much money before we even start having these conversations. Okay, so by the time that the boogeyman goes and gets all of his weapons and gets all of his money and all the things, he's lawyered up. he's got lobbyists, he's got money, he's got the ability to go and fight back and basically say, "No, we're going to keep this system in place because we got the money and we want to make more money." So politicians, the people who pass the laws, that's what this all comes down to. That's where the solution lies. But why can't we figure out this problem? It is because of this, ladies and gentlemen. Please take a look at this chart here. Okay, these are the top 20 member recipients from money from pharmaceuticals. It is who's at the top of this list?
We got Kamala Harris at the
damn.
top, cracking 9,136,411.
Give me more, daddy.
Biden coming in at $9,093,884.
Mr. Barack Obama.
We got Obama at 6 million. We got Hillary Clinton at 4 million. We got Romney at 3 million. Anyone that's run for president is going to be on here. We don't see Trump on here. It's interesting. We got Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, huge globalist, $2 million. We got Mitch McConnell, old turtle man, 2 million as well. Bernie, right in that neighborhood at 1.9 million.
Oh, he's like one of the biggest advocates for this stuff.
He's the hero, right? We have to take care of the healthcare. We have to make it affordable for people. And that's why I accepted $2 million in donations from the pharmaceutical companies.
That's
because
literally
they are good people and they support me. And they
him and Elizabeth Warren. Those are two people that are on the Democrats. But it's not just Democrats that are on this list. Yeah, the top 5 are Democrats, but it's Republicans on there too.
It's a mixture of them all. Look, we even got John McCain. RIP, not on the bottom here at 1.4. I mean, look, I'm ashamed at how little they sell out for. Now, obviously, they sell out for the stock tips as well and all the other things like this. But really, it costs you less than 10 million to buy like a presidential candidate, and then these companies make like tens of billions of dollars every single year.
Now, we'll read the disclaimer. The money does come from employees or PAC affiliated within the industry, not from companies themselves. But again, you have to be able to go under the guise that I'm not directly benefiting.
Still damning.
It's
still damning.
Right. There's still money that's coming from these pharma industries, and they're only giving that money because they have incentive to do so. You know, it's not red versus blue. It's green, man. They see the dollar.
Two wings on the same bird, man. Yeah. It's not red or blue, it's green, but that's true.
It is.
It's true. And it's just like those simple idioms that you might look at and go like, oh, it's just like a hippie saying something. It's 100% true. It's 100% true.
So, you know, it's like, I know people are asking, what's the solution? The solution starts with changing the laws. The solution is we have other countries in the entire world that have already figured this equation out. Now, here's the thing. There are some pros to us having, you know, some of these systems in place. We have very good healthcare system when you can afford it. Okay. You can get access to some of the best doctors in the world because they get paid a lot here, and you can afford the groundbreaking research.
I had to get surgery on my bunion, and it was getting very bad to where I couldn't walk through the airport. And I went and got the surgery, and I paid $10,000, and it's completely gone. And any average American who cannot get health care like I got on my bunion, I understand why they are upset. And that's why we have to make it affordable for everyone.
Right.
But I will never do so because I have been bought off by the companies. Thank you very much.
I love you. I love his Long Island. Yeah. You know, the thing is like I'm trying to say here, it's like overall, the healthcare system is flawed in itself. There are some benefits. Some of these other countries don't have some of the best healthcare in the world and the top research and the new groundbreaking research that goes behind life-saving things because they don't have as much funding. But, you know, here's the thing. And it's not always that you're going to have this chronic illness. Sometimes I just want to be able to get my leg fixed without paying $20,000 to be in the hospital.
Well, I want to be so fat that I can be rolled down the street like a barrel, and they can roll me straight to the hospital, and I can go, look, I became rich just so I could spend money here and not die.
Gilded
Age.
They
wheel you into the room. Yeah, seriously. You're like crypto trading on your laptop as you're dying.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Overall, we built a healthcare system. So instead of treating sicknesses, and we're just trying to treat the sicknesses instead of just preventing them overall. And the government is arguing over who pays the bill instead of just making the problem smaller by fixing the core issues.
Right.
And 80% of the illness is preventable.
Right.
And so overall, it's just about building a healthier country.
type 2 diabetes is usually reversible if you lose all the weight. The thing is, people really don't want to lose all the weight, and that's why the GLP-1 drugs, for all the criticism, they are like very good for public health at the end of the day.
Right.
Is because people need to lose weight.
But
We're literally too fat. Like,
right. Now, imagine if we took all the money and we just started to just give people tax breaks for staying healthy, or maybe we make buildable.
That's communism.
I'm just saying that's an extreme. But
Honestly, I don't hate the idea of having single payer as long as, like, hey,
incentivize people for being healthy, though.
Yeah, you're like, look, if you've got like a chronic disease such as like cystic fibrosis or like sickle cell or something crazy where you need treatment, you can get in. But if you're 400 pounds and you're trying to get in,
we can't discriminate.
Yeah, I don't.
We're inclusive here. The Democrats would lose their minds.
I guess that is the law, is that they're not allowed to discriminate, right? And then with Obamacare, they changed it so if you had pre-existing conditions, they couldn't decline you.
Yeah, and that was the thing they were doing a lot, was they were trying to minimize the amount of money they were paying by having these like programs, and some of them were predatory. Like you had some people like who just you had some allergy or some situation happen once, and then suddenly
predative is also a word. There you
we'll
go.
See.
Yeah,
word salad. I'm an engineer, not an English
That's
teacher.
actually a good word. But go ahead.
But overall, it's like, why don't we just build walkable cities? Why don't we just build public transportation, right? Because we're incentivizing everybody. But here's the thing. The reason why a lot of these countries, Germany, Europe in general, they're walkable cities. They have transit. They're incentivizing people to walk instead of just taking the car or the Tahoe down to work. And the thing is, when you walk more, you burn more calories, you stay healthier. And a lot of these things are happening because they have walkable cities. Also, the thing is we need real nutrition. We need real fitness programs. You could be spending all this money on things that actually incentivize people, educate people. Just like the thing I said, the fucking smoking lady. Where's the stuff for fat for being 800 pounds overweight?
But Tim, you walk into the gas station, it's like death row. Like it's so bad.
It's fucking Twinkies, Snicker bars,
Doritos, like green chips. Like it's food dye.
And that's the other thing too. Yeah. You were hitting the nail on the head. It's cutting the chemical and the garbage out of the food. You know, Europe has so many things that are banned from their food, but somehow here in America, they're legal.
Whatever we want.
They're legal? Are you kidding me? So the thing is, you know, we could be doing all this as a Congress and as a nation, and it really starts from the top down. The people rely on the government at this point. The government has to change this, you know, status quo. And instead, what do? We send billions to Ukraine.
We love it.
We send billions to Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're funding drag shows in Ecuador. In fucking Ecuador.
Oh, yeah. It's time. More money. I demand more.
That's a real thing, guys. Don't believe me. Go look online. Doge had discovered that they're literally funding drag
in Pakistan and all this. Yeah, everything is very important.
We're flying B-52 bombers over Venezuela for what? For fucking what? Like, honestly, it's disgusting.
That's a good point you make. How many bombs will we drop before our kids are not fat? How many bombs does it take? How many missiles do you have to launch? Because, you know, we look across the world, we criticize people, we invade them, we wage war on them, financial and literal. But then you come home and America is just a tomb. Like, it really is. And I think of the gas station. You walk into the gas station, the only thing that's healthy there to eat, maybe, or drink is milk. And that's the only thing they have at the gas station. You can't point to one other food besides maybe a banana that they have, or some sunflower seeds or something.
Now watch, the sunflower seeds are probably like boiled in some fucking carcinogenic
death
oil. Yeah. So, you know, you can't even trust that stuff. And it's crazy because when I was in Germany, I was like, damn, I was missing America. And I was like, wait, why am I missing America? I was like, the food tasted different. Yeah. The food was healthier there. The bread was actually fresh and expired well beyond, you know, it's sitting there for a month. You could still go eat a freaking Wonder Bread a month from now and just be like, oh, this still tastes good. Delicious.
Right.
So the thing is we could be spending on that, but no, we got to go pay for nuclear testing now because that's what we need. Or, you know, let's give credit cards to a
All right, is it working?
You know,
now?
it's insane. I just went on a whole fucking rant, and you guys probably did not hear me. Did you guys hear any of what I said? Because that was so fucking good to me. Rex heard me. Oh my God. Please tell me now. Oh my God, I'm so mad because that was like I was in such a flow state. I was in such a flow state. I was
in such a flow state. I was going over the issues. I was doing it so well as I always do, and the microphone broke.
I broke the microphone. You guys didn't hear any of it, but you know what? That's why we love the gray area, because we're still figuring shit out. And when I get mad enough, I slam on the table and it breaks the fucking audio.
One day we're gonna have.
All right, Swamp wants me to fucking repeat it, so I will, because that actually was something that came out of my
really quick,
out of my
though,
core. Go ahead.
Quick. One day we're gonna have a studio, have someone switching for us. Okay?
I can't
So just
wait for
bear
that
with
day.
us, and y'all are here on the ground level. We appreciate you. We go ahead.
We appreciate that. What I was saying was, the government is just one big circle jerk, guys.
Right.
Democratic, Republicans, they're all detached from reality. They have none of the issues that we have. Like 30% of them are fucking millionaires. They all have money. And the thing is like, we can't even get to a point where we can just pass like a simple like emergency fund to just be like, okay, let's go get the TSA agents paid real quick. So that way we don't have disruptions to the rest of the United States and all the air traffic. But no, we've got to cut 10% of the air travel. And I don't even know if I'm going to go home. I'm supposed to go home for Thanksgiving. And now I'm having to sit here and think about the things that I used to not. It pisses me off. I'm like, I should be able to I booked my flight 3 months ago. But, you know, maybe it's because now this is hitting home, and like it's like once it hits home, it really starts to make you angry. And maybe it just hasn't hit home for Congress because, you know, Cash can still fly on his fucking private jets
to go see his country music superstar.
Right. So, and Trump's taking private jets too. And not just that, I'm sorry, he's taking Air Force One, which costs billions of dollars. But I digress.
They all got a way around it. You don't. They all got a way to figure it out. You don't. They all got money to survive it. You don't. You don't live in the future that they're headed towards. And that's what you need to realize. And, you know, we got people talking about solutions and saying that, you know, we're just making light or making fun. No, we're having the real conversation. We're not going, I love Trump or I hate Trump. We're not doing that.
I hate them all.
Yeah, we hate them all.
I hate them all.
We hate them all. Yes, hate them all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So here's the thing. We now have judges going playing lawfare where like things are being kicked back, and like there are people there are literally people starving, and the Supreme Court has to step in and basically say, no, you're not allowed to use that money to just give funding to people who need food. You know, you have to make it a political issue.
Right.
Even the Democrats made a political issue.
It's all about getting elected.
It's all about it. And now they're trying to say, all right, let's pass this $1.5 trillion spending budget, but let's strategically plan it a year out so that this issue comes up a year from now, right around midterm elections. They're not fucking playing innocent. Are you kidding me?
Right.
They're strategically trying to play chess here. You think I'm stupid? You think I'm dumb? I know you're trying to extend it to a year. Why can't you just pass like a 30-day and figure this shit out like 60 days from now, a year from now? You got to be kidding me. And, you know, at the end of the day,
and they act like they have such a hard job. Like they're like, oh, we have to go to Congress. You sit around all day, you get stock tips, all insider information. You're rich as fuck, and then you can't even help the American people.
No. And the thing is like people are tired of it. And I know we go out here and we're complaining right now, and it's so depressing that I think about it. It doesn't even fucking matter right now what we're saying.
And then people talk about, oh, what's the solution? What's the solution? I'll tell you what the solution is. The crash, the Great Depression. That's what the solution is.
I thought you were going to say blow up the. I was like,
no,
easy, buddy.
No, that's what we're waiting for is the Great Depression, unfortunately 2.0, which will happen because of the choices of the administration and rulers of this country throughout Obama, Biden, and Trump. I almost said Biden, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just a whole reorganization, a recalibration. You know, Joe said something earlier. It's just when the boomers die out. But like, I don't even know if the boomers are going to be like when they die out, they've just bred more of the same creature.
I don't know. No. They have money. This is the thing. They have the housing and they have the money. And when they die and those things get freed up, that is like the last trickle of mobility for America. I feel it.
I think so.
I think that I think that was Joe's point. That's my point when I always address the boomer issue. And my thing with the boomers is like my grandparents are boomers. I love them. I don't hate all boomers. But statistically, when you look at it, it's these over 65 population that have this money, that have the houses, and that vote. They vote. They outrepresent every other demographic.
Yeah, because the average millionaire is the age is like 60.
Think about it. The people closest to death are the most excited about voting. Think about this.
It's because it's uninteresting to the average person.
Well, but I think it speaks to a deeper societal sickness, right? The people that are about to die, like the people in Congress that are making all the money, just like, yeah, like next 10 years, great for me. And then I check out. They don't care.
You know why? It's because they are probably fine. They have the ability to like start thinking ahead about these things and the immediate things. Like there's people that are going out voting on their local state elections and issues that go on there. But the average young person is like, how am I going to fucking pay for the, my food this week? How am I going to pay this $400 electric bill where all that money was being extra charged because we have AI being built and all the infrastructure that's being paid for that. And I didn't see that on my line item.
And you're a hard worker. You're a businessman. Like we're independently successful outside of the whole media thing. We're doing the media thing because we have to comment on what's happening in society right now. You're angry because you've done all the right things. You've done the hard work. You've got the job. And you're like, look, I can afford the plane ticket to go hang out with my family on the holiday. It's what I would like to do with my time as a American who
works so hard
and has the money to do the thing. You're out here like, please pay for my ticket. You're like, I bought the ticket. I'm going to the airport knowing that I'm probably not going to be able to get there.
I'm probably not even gonna fucking go to the airport if this stuff is still going
on.
Gotta
drive now. You gotta drive now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's very easy to get black pilled about all of this, guys.
Black pill time.
And I'm sorry about my rant. I'm sorry I broke the audio, so you guys had had to hear my rant kind of twice. But ultimately it is something that hits home to me, and I'm sure it hits home to a lot of other people.
I think it definitely does.
And at the end of the day, maybe our job is to keep talking about this stuff, because as long as you keep talking about this stuff, you end up having it still in the back of people's mind, because the worst thing that could happen is that people forget completely.
I don't think they will, because of how expensive things are getting. I think people have forgotten throughout American history recently, just because it's still been kind of affordable to live here. But we're entering into a new era here. Like this is unprecedented, uncharted territory. I mean, think about milk being $10. We're about like a year or two away from that. So
yeah, and the wages haven't kept up. If you guys go watch the previous episodes, we kind of break down exactly how corporate money and the profits and the inflation has not kept up with the wages, and the money hasn't gone back into the people, and the productivity's increased, but the money's not going back to the people who are creating the productivity. It's all very difficult.
Yes,
and I'm sorry for anybody who's struggling out there right now, because the government can't. And here's the thing: I was on food stamps growing up. I was one of those people on welfare, not by choice. Parents made certain decisions. Also, they didn't have the same opportunities in certain aspects. But I'm not somebody who kind of. I know that there's certain things that are out of my control.
Experience,
I've got the real experience to know what it feels like, and the food stamps did come into play. We weren't one of those family that's going and people are like joking around and like, oh well, people just go and buy like crazy shit with food stamps. Really, they limit it to food, guys. So at the end of the day, like for the most part, you're paying for food because that's what you need. But I don't know. I digress, man.
I think that was good. I think that was really passionate from you, and we went over a lot of ground there. Like this system is unfair, and it's set up deliberately to be unfair. They write all the rules and red tape and regulations in the world for all these things, and then they go to the American healthcare industry and they go, look, you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah,
you can charge whatever you want. And then on top of that level of disorganization and monopolization of these companies getting all this power, the government comes in and kind of in a pseudo control way puts all these red tapes on, like who can get treatment, who can get medication, who you can see in your network, blah, 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 blah. And you can't have a system where it's like organized chaos like that, because organized chaos is predatory. Mm-hmm. That's why you have organized chaos. It's why that system is set up always in war, in domestic life, in the economy. It's a situation that's designed to be suboptimal, so the winner can always stay the winner. and the winner is the pharmaceutical companies. We look at how much they pay our people. Like Bernie Sanders represents himself as like the millionaires, billionaires.
He's like, I'm the socialist for the common
and
people.
now he only says billionaires because he himself is a millionaire. And this is the great representative. But then the right isn't even any better because you look at Trump, and Trump represents himself as this thing.
And there's a certain level of I hate to call people ignorant, but there's a certain level of ignorance going out there where there's like, oh, well, the solution, tax the rich. Here's the thing. The system's already in place so that even if you try to tax the rich, the only people that are going to be immediate affected are like the doctors and lawyers who are making money from an economic standpoint where they're getting a paycheck. The average person who's a billionaire or is like a multimillionaire has a business where they have a bunch of tax write-offs and they have a whole system in place where they're taking like $5 and then everything else is
owned by the company.
It's owned by the company. So tax the rich
that's how
on
you
what?
do it.
Tax the rich on what? You just end up hurting the doctor that's making, maybe $1 million or something like that. But like most of his income is coming from actual W-2 essentially.
Right.
So, I want to know from you guys in the chat, are these things that are helpful? Like when we do this segment, I really want some honest feedback here, whether I do this not only to just educate myself, but I actually just want to inform people. I see a lot of talk shows out there and they don't ever really give people solutions. They don't give the history. They don't give the context. They just kind of just give orations about stuff.
We're not coming at this from the political perspective, right? And like, please in the chat, give us feedback on what you thought about this segment in particular. I thought this has been one of your best ones yet because of the breakdown of, there's this system, Obamacare, that's wrapped up in the healthcare problem, and everyone kind of has a 2-second blurt response to Obamacare because, oh, it's a long time ago, it's Obama. Hey, it's going to run out in 2026, and then the numbers are going to skyrocket.
Well,
how much you have to pay.
That's why I was so angry when I was researching. I'm like, no one's breaking this shit down.
Right.
I'm like, hold on. There's no way I can be one of the first people to take the macro perspective and go and research this stuff, but anything I saw out there was like right leaning or left leaning. And I'm like, all right, someone's fucking lying.
That's a great way to tell when someone's lying, when everything is right and left leaning. And that's why this is not a political show, even though we do a lot of political coverage. This is an analysis show. We're going over the information. And that information could be from a dumb clip of Mark Levin, or it could be something really stretched out, or we've gone into the deep details here. Whether it's shallow or deep, a topic, we're going to go into it. We're going to break down, hey, what is this representing? What's the agenda here? What are they trying to do? Or from a pure analytical perspective, like these numbers, we go, how have they changed? How has this impacted Americans? Why didn't we know about this? Why were we kept uninformed about this? Because the Fox News and the CNN, they talk about the racism, they talk about the terrorism, they talk about all the things to get you get people so excited. They're not going over the numbers of like, hey, this is how much things have become more expensive. This is how much the price has increased. You'd think if you were the news, this is all you would talk about.
Nah, because it's boring to try to go and research this. And it's very dangerous to release the truth on these things because you're going to end up hurting somebody's political agenda by releasing something like this. If people were to see the table that I created, it's crazy because the Democrats could completely like silence this issue by just saying, all right, here's the facts, here's the numbers. I haven't seen a real chart out there that really breaks it down, showing in plain English as a 5th grader, how much money gonna cost later. That's what people care about. They don't fucking care about the semantics of it all and like, oh, he said this and she said that. It's like people just care about what immediately impacts them.
The goober on the street doesn't even know what inflation is. They know about Houston Rockets or something, but they don't know what inflation is.
So I'm going to keep doing these segments, honestly, guys. I know we've done some that have been in the past that have been like more war-based. I was like, okay, maybe history. But, I was like, there's a lot of stuff that people want to know. We're not going to restrict ourselves to just history. We're going to cover like everything. I like to cover these things about like what's going on, boots on the ground. And I think the next segment, I want to do another deep dive on something that's immediately impacting you guys at home and dive into just how did we get there?
Right.
Are there solutions to this? And just keep engaging, keep informing yourself. And we're going to be doing these every Sunday where you're going to get information. You're going to learn. I want people to learn something new by the time that they finish this stream. That is literally my number one goal at the end of the day.
The goal of the show.
Exactly.
And I mean, look, getting all this great information. Follow Truism Tim on X. Just do it. And look, it's linked in my profile if you're watching it here on X. And if you're on YouTube or Rumble or something, just go look up Truism Tim on X and give him a follow and subscribe to the Gray Area Rumble and YouTube, of course. And look, we want comments. We want your opinions. Like you say, like, what do you want us to do a deep dive in? What do you really not even want us, but need us to cover? Because you know that the people need the information. Maybe you know something. Maybe you want to point it out. Hey, this system is messed up. Hey, this historical pattern is messed up. We're living through it again. We have to address it. That's why we're doing the shows on the Gray Area. I thought tonight's show was really good. I really enjoyed the interview with Joe Biggs. And of course, I enjoyed your monologue. I enjoyed your breakdown, your prepared segment. We're going to clip all of this, and they'll be on X, Tim, and on the Gray Area Talks and Rex Jones News, and it'll be on our YouTube as well. We put out this, guys. So if you want to watch a episode, or if you want to share it to someone that may need to see it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's all about informing people around. I know sometimes people don't want to sit, for an hour and listen to the whole thing. That's why we try to like chop things up, get a little bit shorter segments, but send these things and send the videos to other people. Because that really helps spread the truth.
100%.
And sometimes I wish, I wish we had started this just a little bit sooner, because, there's more people that need to hear this message, and more people that need to understand what's going on. But we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep going forward. We're going to be here years from now, and you guys are the people that are on the boots on the ground. Let's just read a couple of quick chats before we hop off here.
Look into Monsanto and how they poison most of Calhoun County. We're going to do a section on the environmental toxins. I think that deserves a deep dive. I'm going to contribute to that. Y'all nailed it. It was good. I'm Harrison's age. I'm not very familiar with it. Obama advisor Jonathan Gruber sold us the Affordable Care Act with lies that he laughed about our fiscal illiteracy being used against us. I guess that's in terms of the sunset clause. A lot of spammers tonight. A lot of guys spamming in the chat tonight. If you spam messages, I won't read them. That's how that's going to work. Smokey Bear was all about preventing forest fires. Maybe it was divine. We weren't meant to hear it. That's what he said.
No, the first version was perfect. The second one was just a cheap copy, but you guys got the gist.
We got a lot of sound things over here.
I know. I'm so mad at myself.
It's okay, bro. It was like a minute that we had to deal with. They're finding out that the GLP-1 drugs do not help in the relief of diabetes. I mean, so here's the thing, right? Diabetes is insulin sensitivity. Your pancreas makes insulin. If you have that signaling elevated for too long, i.e., you become insulin resistant, your body can no longer put glucose where it needs to go. So it just kind of instantly turns it into fat. And that's why you get the type 2 diabetes and the land whales kind of walking around. This is almost completely reversible if you stop eating. I'm not saying the GLP-1 drug does anything to your pancreas or helps heal it. When you stop eating, your body is forced to become insulin sensitive again.
And that's why they're saying Ozempic is perfect, because it was a diabetes drug that basically makes you not hungry, stop eating, and do that process.
We came up with a drug to increase your self-control.
Right. So now people are shooting that shit up when they haven't even actually looked at they haven't fully tested it to where it's outside of a diabetes. They haven't done as much testing. So Ozempic is not good for weight loss. I would not recommend it to people. So.
No, it's not. The additives in cigarettes or the addictive substances. Nicotine is addictive. Nicotine is very
addictive.
It's a dopamine reuptake.
And then actually, I've heard the nicotine coming off of nicotine for people is actually harder than some other major drugs.
It can be.
I've
So
seen that.
Here's the thing with coming off of nicotine, you get real mad for like a week, and then that's kind of over. Nicotine is interesting because, yes, it's not good cardiovascularly. It interferes with the endothelial lining at some level, although it's minor.
Yeah.
It is incredibly protective for Parkinson's and for Alzheimer's, though, for neurological conditions and disorders. And it's one of the only like long-term antidepressants that over like 10 years plus is shown to still work. So I got some issues, little nicotine time, not healthy, not advocating for it, but there are pros and cons to these things. Also trying to, I lost it. Also trying to start a program to prescribe healthy food and have it covered. The government poisons us. It's soft kill, mercury, aluminum, barium, fluoride, glyphosate. I agree. We're going to do a show on that. I promise. I owe you that. That's my bread and butter. Tomorrow is a Marine Corps birthday, 250 years old. Wow. Hoorah. Very impressive.
Happy birthday.
Very, very cool. Yeah. Brainstorm a solution. We talked about that. It's a Great Depression. Drug companies were using USA to pay for their drug research. Yeah, the USA, we pay for drug research, we subsidize it, and then the companies that we pay for drug research, the companies donate to the safety and testing people, and that's how that whole scam works.
Yeah,
it's really incredible.
That's backwards.
My dog had better service. Number one, I paid for it, so I expected better service. Number two, I knew they'd go somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, like the vet, sometimes you get better service than at the
vet
doctor.
is expensive too. Man.
Oh man, yeah, I know about Rupert.
How much did you have to pay when you had to take him for that metal? You thought the X-ray?
I thought he ate some metal, so I had to take him to get an X-ray. It was like $300. That's a lot of money, but he's all good. There is no withdrawal. There is a withdrawal. There's 100% a nicotine withdrawal.
It's like saying there's no withdrawal from like cocaine.
There's withdrawal from caffeine.
There's withdrawal from caffeine. Yeah, you get headaches.
Anything that is neurologically active, anything that's a drug, essentially, is going to have a withdrawal period, right? But yeah, dude, thank you, Swamp Tapon, for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Samantha. I see a couple other people in chat. Thank you, Jackson. I appreciate your spamming, but please try to keep it to a minimum. I appreciate it. And thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have episodes that are on YouTube, Rumble. Go watch those. People who didn't watch this, please, when we come out with these videos, please send it to them, specifically the segment about what's going on with Obamacare and why the shutdown is happening. I think people need to be informed. And lastly, please just give me a follow. Like I
follow Truism Tim on X.
I really enjoy doing this stuff for you guys, and the motivation comes from just giving value to you. So yeah, just give me a follow if you guys can. We'll be live again on Tuesday. I'm sorry we took a hiatus. We had some stuff that we had to work out, but now we've got an awesome set here. And tune in next Tuesday, and then we'll also be there on Thursday as well. So
thank you for being here with us tonight. You don't have to, you chose to, and we appreciate it. And it's like Tim said, we're trying to bring you value in every single one of these shows. These shows are about informing people. These shows are about informing ourselves so we can be better hosts and communicators. And these shows are about producing a better America in the future. Thank you so much for being here with us on The Gray Area. God bless, good luck, and good night.
Take care, guys.
Very on.